Hopefully we back on. I'm at the call Xfinity. It started a whole new stream. Golly. Guess I gotta do what True does and put part two. Shout outs to True Life Story. Shout outs to King Oz. Y'all know the fam. So I guess if y'all just tuning into the Psy Tai POdcast part two, I really do thank you for coming on through out of the blue. Coming on through out of the blue. If y'all was here last time, I left off and I was talking about Aang and him learning his fire bending and it being representative of the anger that's in him, but also the fury, the him doing things, his action, his participation here on Earth was represented by the fire, because that was the last thing that he had to use in order to defeat the Fire Lord, in order to defeat the person that rose his nation up to conquer all the other nations on that fictional place in the Avatar world. So in order for the one person to defeat him, he was raised to be the one person. He had to get control of his fire. And I was saying before, he didn't want to use his fire. He said, I'm scared to use it. I don't know how to control it. I see how it's been used to conquer the rest of the world. So I don't want to participate in that energy. The monks taught me not to participate in that energy. This is what Aang is saying on Avatar: The Last Airbender. So he learned all the other things. The earth, how to be rigid. The water, how to be fluid. In the air, how to stay up there. How to not be so attached. How to stay lighthearted. But the fire which burns, he did not want to participate in. He said, that's not for me. So he runs across Prince Zuko, who finally wants to teach him firebending after being the one that was chasing him for like the first 2 seasons. So now this is more. He's like, I have to learn fire from the person, have to learn to control my fire from the person that's been chasing me all this time. So now I'm connecting this with the protests, with the riots that you see going on. People are learning their fire. People been taught that they're not supposed to attach to this world so much. And that the control of this world needs to be given over to the proper authorities. To people that say that they have better skill at handling these type of situations. So you over there, just go work your 9 to 5. Just go let us continue taking this amount of taxes and putting it into this faction of government, which then it can get all mucked up and is not all going to the resources that you really thought it was going to participate in and help grow. It's like, let us handle all of that stuff because we got it. That's what the government says. They like, we got this. Just chill out. Chill out, baby. Chill out, baby. Come on. And then they try to really act like they're your parent by saying, you don't want us to smack you, do you? You don't want us to smack you up real fast, do you? It's just a lesson that you don't know you learning. Excuse me. Because we shaping you up. That's what the police is saying. That's what the police says. That we're shaping you up. That's why we whipping you up. Just like a parent to a kid. But now we seeing dealing with mushrooms and dealing with psychedelics and all these new things that hitting the kids shouldn't be so common. Like sparing the ride sometimes. You probably got to spare the ride and have a real conversation. Not just be so quick to whip a kid. Because that's the ideas. That's the world that we've been living in all this time. All this time. That we need to actually show this, in order to show dominance, we need to display power. We need to display our anger and how angry we can get So like, this is how angry I can get. So I'm displaying, don't let me get here again. If I ever reach this spot again, whoo, you'll never know. And now look at the cops now. They letting that anger be displayed to the point where now you know. Now you understand who we are. We will put our knee on your neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. And no matter what you say, we're going to continue with our protocol. We're going to continue with our game. You said you a Leo all fire, King guys. Yeah. And that's why you fired up, bro. I'm mutable fire. I'm Sagittarius. So my fire changes so I can get fired up in different ways. And right now I'm fired up about them really promoting their gang activity. And now we have to use our voice. We have to use our actions. We have to use that fire in a way where where Aang in the show Avatar, Prince Zuko and Aang had to learn how to use their fire, because no longer did Prince Zuko want to learn how to push out his fire through anger. Because once he wanted to teach the Avatar his tools on how to use his fire stopped working. Because he wasn't so angry anymore. And that was how he was used to using his fire. So they went to the Sun Tribe. They found a hidden Sun Tribe that was hidden in mountains. And they was the first fire. They was the first ones to learn how to use fire. And they learned how to use it from the sun and from dragons. So that's what Prince Zuko and Aang did. They went to the dragons. And they were tested by the dragons in order to come across this new ability, this new way to control the fire that was within them, that they absolutely needed in order to destroy this tyrant that was controlling all the nations. So, while they were doing this, they had to learn the flow, and it was this one spot, and my friend Kenny just posted this picture today. And I watched this all yesterday, so it was wild that he posted this on his Instagram, on his Facebook today. There we go. We reconnected successfully. And in there, he was saying how he saw colors and stuff that he never seen before. Now, I'm relating this to a trip, to psychedelics, to mushrooms, what you experience on these, where you start getting a whole nother kind of fire. And in there, Prince Zuko was like, now I understand. Now I understand. And that's how I feel. Oh, I found it. Here it is. That's the picture. This the GIF I'm talking about. And he was like, now I understand. And that's the experience I had. That's the experience a lot of people have had. That's why you see people having pickup signs saying, give the cops mushrooms, give the cops LSD, give this, that. And even why you see people moving the way they doing. Why you see people being so vocal, not caring about the destruction that they're causing, but knowing that is action, knowing that it's causing reactions that's much needed, reactions that was never being able to be caught up before. Like, we tried this, we tried that, we tried this. We tried the Martin Luther King method, getting along, being peaceful. Now tie that into the Professor Xavier method, trying to get along with all the humans. Mutants and humans could get along. And then you get Magneto saying, look at them killing us. What are you talking about, Professor X? Professor Xavier, I know you smart, but we need to recognize what's going on. They are killing us. They are labeling us as the bad guys when we are just like them. We probably the next step in evolution, period. Like, all of the government was made a long time ago. The police force was made a long time ago. So this is new times. And I hear some knocking on the Discord. Hey, Exile. Oh, my thing was off. Hey.
Yo,
Yo.
how's your day?
Man, I'm doing all right. Just woke up to some Joey Diaz, had a blunt, And then I was just like, I feel like talking. I said, watching a podcast. I want to do a podcast right now.
Yeah. You live?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep. Early in the morning.
What's the topic today?
And I was talking about fire because I was watching Aang yesterday in the Avatar, and I was watching the third season where he had to finally learn how to use his fire in order to defeat the Fire Lord, and how he was like, I don't want to learn this fire. Like, it's been destroying everything around me, and it's been used to destroy everything around me. Like, why should I
Right.
learn this? And
Right.
and I was comparing it to the protests and all the things going on now, where people learning how to use their fire,
Yeah.
and learning that they have
Yeah.
to learn how to use it because uncontrollable too. Well, you can lose control of it very easily and burn somebody.
That's right.
It's absolutely necessary because I've been taught how to
In
use
my
the water.
in my own life, it's been like money has been. I kind of looked at money that way in the beginning. Like I hated money so bad because it was used to separate and divide and use power. So it was like I had this connotation against money for the longest time until I finally just was able to look at it differently as another fire. It could be fire, it could be water, it could be how you use it.
Yep. Yep. I was the same way. I was running across a couple YouTube videos in like 2012, 13. And I was like, I don't need money. And then I had to learn, like, if I want to actually do stuff, I need some currency, no matter
Right.
how I get it. And that's why I was like
And
that hustler spirit came back. And I was like, oh, this is what I was actually getting into. Like, this is why it was needed. Because then you start giving up all that power to somebody else. Be on welfare all your life. My mom just got off welfare like last year. Well, she still gives stamps right now, but she was on cash assistance. We was living in PHA, like the project, so we was getting comfortable
sec-
with just getting assistance all the time.
yeah, Section 8
Mm-hmm.
housing. Yeah.
Oh, I'm in Section 8 right now, so I'm still growing.
Hey, there. I don't know. I don't know if there's you know, it sucks. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many things that could be so much more beneficial if things were a lot more. I don't know. Instead of take, it was more give take. You know what I mean? Like right now, you put $1 into the bank and they can lend $100 on your dollar. And actually, right now, there's no limit to how much they can lend if you put money in the bank. There's a $0, what is that called? Liquidity. They don't have to have any liquidity. So that's what makes all these things so expensive, is because they pumped this currency up. So it's not like I mean, our work is still worth something. An apple is still worth an apple. A chicken is still worth a
For
chicken.
real. But I know what
Crazy,
you
man.
mean. The inflation with the money, because the money
And that's
just ones and zeros anyway. Just make it up.
yeah, that's part. Yeah, that's part of our. It's a fire too,
Mm-hmm.
because it's used for trade. You can send currency to New Zealand or something to your family.
Because of the work that's already been put into it, when people see the money, you can trade. It's a good trade. It's a good trade.
Right. It's like the internet of fire. There's money.
Start feeling like Lil Wayne and stuff.
I've been watching. I've been watching more of his stuff lately.
He got a radio show out now. I was cracking up at where he's sitting in like this dungeon, like dark room with red lighting that
Yeah,
say Tunchi in the background.
yeah. He's got his like neon lights.
And he be talking about some of the social issues that go on. He take it from a
Yeah.
higher perspective. Like he ain't that. Like the people was upset at him because he said something about the cops and stuff like that. Like don't be mad at all the cops and stuff like that. But that's what we say here. Like don't be mad at all the cops. Just look at the gang that they are. And some people that be caught up on the streets that grow up in that neighborhood just sometimes get caught up in that gang.
And all you see is one side.
Yeah, yep. Like most of them are douches. My friend, my neighbor Brad was telling me how he went to high school with like 5 people that decided to be cops, and they was the bullies in schools. But then there's some people that were just like, hey, I think there's some good ideas. I want to protect the neighborhood. This is what they say they're promoting. Let me sign up. Like I got cops
Yeah.
as a family member or something like that. Like that's what they probably say. And just get caught up, and then they be like, "Oh wow, this is a gang," really, that good cop, bad cop kind of thing. That's real, but
The
it
guys
shouldn't
that
be
I
like that.
graduated with in school, or the guys who turn into cops, are the guys who you would go and party with or hang out with in high school, and you'd bring if you had kids, you'd bring your kids around right now. Go to go to the bowling alley. These are it's just like you and me, just like what you said.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's going to be in 1,000 people, there's going to be a certain percentage of people who don't go with the mainstream, no matter what that is.
Yeah, no matter what it is. That's why the mind is wild. The mind is wild. Because it's the thing that we all well, not upset about, but that I feel like society, like I'm part of, like the world is upset about, is things that's in the mind. But don't you know, like a kid don't really know why they're upset, so you got to tell them to sit and breathe for a while, and then like
Yeah,
it just pops up hopefully after a couple days of sessions of breathing. Like that's what we are now, and the problem is so much deeper than what a lot of people focus on. What a lot of people are focusing on is, and it's really the mentality. And a lot
yeah,
of people are foreseeing it now. That's why everything is getting so rowdied up. But it's just the mentality that you take when you take a side or when you choose a side. Like, are you really protecting the people? I was watching Dave Chappelle, his 846 special, and he was
yeah,
talking about the military and how the military is this military guy that was going against the cops. And it was,
yeah,
I like how his passion when he said like those are people that's protecting us, like that's the military to protect the country from terrorists, from somebody that's terrorizing the citizens. And that's how the cops was looking to him at the time. So if, like we can protect people and stuff, but we gotta really know. We gotta really know, like if we hurt somebody, that hey, like we in the same house. Like you're supposed to be
same house.
protecting us, bro. We can't get into fights and family disputes all day, all night. Like that's wild. That's crazy. Can't live like that. And the thing is, that's what they taught us. That's exactly what they taught, like us as black people, minorities, people that live in the hood and stuff like that. That's why we formed. Wow, that's why Tupac and all of them was saying, y'all taught us how to make the gangs. Y'all taught us how to organize and stuff
Yeah,
like that, cause that's what y'all did when y'all was in our neighborhoods. That's what y'all are doing now, and that's what's said as being cool. Cause I'm thinking that's why we do the things in the black neighborhood, like that's similar to the cops, like show our presence and like in anger and stuff, shoot up the block and be like, see now y'all know not to fuck with us, and like y'all know to pay y'all dues, or we only sell drugs on this corner and stuff like that, and shoot our own brothers and kill our own families, and that's wild. That's wild.
it's wild.
And then yeah, so it really is a mental thing that we all really need to wake up to, so that we're not just all pointing the finger at one or another, but we do need to point the finger too. Because sometimes we gotta tell mama or we gotta tell cousin, like, hey, you ain't gonna hit me again. Like I'll move out if I have to, but I don't got money to move out right now, so so I'm gonna be as destructive as you right now, and I do feel like I don't want to go do this right now, but the way my emotions is swaying me right, I'm just with the sway.
And you
So
just
we both
reminded
gonna
me of
be
the
fighting up in here.
you just reminded me of the OA. I started watching that last night. I did the first 3 seasons, or the first
I
not,
thought to
the
say
first
you
three episodes.
marathon that shit.
No, no, not seasons. The first 3 episodes.
Uh huh.
And you reminded me how she's talking to the Have you seen it?
I saw all the episodes at least three
So,
times.
oh shit.
That's my
So you get
show.
my references.
Yes, I do. I was so happy when you just said, "Oh, I was watching it last night." I started cheesing.
It's well, it kind of hurts because it's about abduction so far, and
Mm-hmm.
I know personally people who have been abducted like for years at a time and then made it out, so it hits home. Uh, but when she was talking to the teacher, and she says the one that you can help is not the one that's doing good. The one that you can help is the one that you can help. You know. And she's like, oh.
It is. It is. It's like trying to go help Kevin Hart. Like, I'm supporting
Yeah,
Kevin Hart by doing this. Like, he don't need you. He trying to inspire you to help other people. Like, he helping you. You
that's
need
why
help.
King Oz's Walk It Talk It challenge is awesome.
Yeah, it is. Everybody go check that out if y'all on here. The Walk It Talk It Challenge, King Guys, YouTube. On YouTube, type that in, pop right up. Pipe right up. Just giving things to people randomly. That people in need. People in need. And it makes a hell of a difference, even if you never see them again. It's like that example you said, planting a tree in a
That
place
you'll
where you
never
where
sit
you don't
under.
live. Yeah, that you never sit under.
Helping somebody that has no ability to help you back ever.
I gave somebody some. It was like 3 weeks. I cut like 3 weeks a month ago now. I gave some. It's a homeless guy. I call him J Man. He like 25. He like on heroin and stuff like that. But he talks to me a lot. And he like say when he talks to me is like his mind is able to be free and stuff, and he feel relaxed and all of that kind of just jazz.
Yeah.
But I
Delivery
gave him.
drivers talk to me all the time, or convenience store people, or that. Go for it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like what you say. It's like they talk into a clear mind or like a reflection that's I don't know, cause I feel like I'm still him when he talking to me. Like I understand everything he be saying. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. Even though it's random as fuck. You're like, oh, okay, now I'm in this conversation.
I'm just flowing with it. I gave him some shrooms a couple days, like a month ago. I gave him a little goodie bag, so I gave him some edibles and stuff. And I was like, here, and he's
Oh.
telling me about a shroom trip he had when he was 14. I was like, whoa, you've been on for a long time. He said he went to the movies and gave everybody and brought everybody movie tickets. He said, "Yo, bro, I was so happy as I just brought everybody movie tickets."
That's what you feel like, bro, sometimes.
He's real cool. He's real cool. It's just connecting with people, all factions. It's just really tight. Even if he does talk my head off sometimes. I'm there for it. I'm there for it.
Well, that's the sharing of the fire.
Oh yeah. Yep. That is he's showing the fire all right.
You ever see, I forget which movie it was. The theme of it, or the guy always said to his son, carry the fire. And it was some like apocalyptic movie.
Uh-huh.
The Road. I think it was called The Road. You ever seen that movie?
No, I never heard of it.
The Road. Yeah, it's kind of gruesome. Like a Book of Eli, kind of gruesome.
Uh-huh.
Uh, uh, there's a real notable character. I want to. He's the lead guy from Lord of the Rings, like the king that ends up becoming the king.
Yeah, that was up in my head.
Ego,
I should know his name. What's his name?
Ego, or
Yep.
Ye,
Wait,
something
is
like
it
that,
Ego?
or Ye Yugo, or
Man, I'm thinking about Return of the King. I see his face all in my head, so I know what you mean.
yeah, he's the lead character in this one too, and he's got a kid, and it's like post-apocalyptic, and he's telling his kid like Shit's fucked up, and he sees all this fucked up shit happening to him. But the way to get through is like to carry the fire, to carry the inner fire. That's a good movie. I think you should.
Yeah, what's the title of it one more time so I can
I
type
believe it's called the Road.
the road. All right, I'm gonna keep that up. Yeah, it's the oh man, I'm sorry guys. It's just the chat. The chat wasn't popping up on what I wanted it to on the screen, but it was people typing. Hey, you well? Hey, King guys.
Yo, I'll
Oh,
pull up YouTube.
yeah, the fire, the fire, the fires. That's what we are now in Book 3 of Avatar. All the nations rising up. Man, I swear the way that I'm sorry to turn this back on me for a moment, but the way that I'm receiving messages, the old me would say is otherworldly. Is otherworldly. Because my friend Olin put me on this path. Like, I was already watching Avatar on the first season, and then he put currently watching The Dark Day of the Sun or something. And I was like, huh. So then I said, while I was watching this, I was like, yo, let me watch this right. Let me rewatch this, the third season. And then I just marathoned it. So now me looking at him, because all he do all day is post memes, Exile. He just posts memes all day. And last week I
Yeah,
called him the meme god. I was like, yo, you're the meme god right now. Because all his memes be on point. So I just see him as a point in consciousness as pushing stuff out in a certain, on a certain light.
yeah,
It is wild. We are all ideas, as King Oz said. I like tying in everybody's stories. That's why I see. Like the way I talk, I remember what everybody said, and then I put it together like a math problem, and say this is
yeah.
what all of this equals.
You don't have to apologize in conversation with me either for that.
You say you have to apologize to yourself.
No, you don't ever have to apologize to me in conversation for
Oh,
that.
gotcha. Yeah, you on that level. You understand the madness.
Well, there's order in the chaos and chaos in the order.
Hmm.
The yin and the yang.
So sometimes what seems mad to some is them really being together. Like, oh, he finally
Right.
got it. He's not stuck in that role anymore. You both say, hey, Yolanda, peace and love.
Stuck in the roll like a Rolo or a Smarties or Mentos.
Not stuck in nothing. Stop stuck in no mentos, no mentality.
No drop, no anchors.
Continuously flowing. It was
Hack it. Go ahead.
I was on Truth Live 3 days ago, and I was on a mushroom animating, and I couldn't get on the show. Like it was so hard for me to talk because
Oh.
everybody kept saying everything that I was thinking.
Oh, you were on. I see what you mean.
Yeah, yep. And I'm talking on this with you now because just for me to think about it later again, because the things that I think about it's like it's not me thinking of it, and I'm
Right.
understanding that in a whole different light because I was watching, well, because of the mushrooms and the experiences, but I was watching the I was about to say Score 8, Sense 8 by the Wachowski brothers, people that made The
Yeah.
Matrix, and that
I
show
think
is
they're sisters now.
yeah, there's yeah, the sisters, and this show is all about got all the sexualities going on in there too.
And people were changing, and then the person, like, if you needed help, like the dude who had skills in this one, or the girl, he'd help them out when they needed it. Like they
Yes,
just jump right in.
yes, I'm that's the best picture I could say to what it feels like I'm experiencing.
Like,
Like
here, let me
what's
take care of this real quick.
yeah. So then when I hear that, it's like then they say it on the TV or they say it in reality or something else happens or
Right.
those skills really pop up to help me. That's why I be saying I really see y'all or see you, Yolanda, Duell, all of y'all is really family. Cause
Yeah.
y'all be popping up during my life and y'all thoughts that y'all say, it pop up as y'all saying it like right now, like you saying a quote, like that quote will pop up while I'm working or moving along, and that would have a first effect on what I'm actually doing. Like I don't have to think after that. It's like boosh, it just go right through that. And I'm like, yo, that's I've been working with that for a long time, but when I seen it manifested like that, when those thought ideas started coming to me, I'm like, it's really magical. It's really magical that we're all connected to this hive mind. That we are the hive mind. Everybody is really. That's why we can really get real deep and start doing some remote location and stuff like that.
That's right.
Jumping into random people bodies and be like, yo, what's going on? And the belief of it, once we believe it more with our experiences and start shaping our minds and stuff, you know how it is, it'll start being more relevant. Like start using it more as a skill than like, oh man, I was just thinking this, or oh, I don't even know what to think of that. It was a quinky dink, it was a synchronicity, it was a da 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 da. It's like it is a synchronicity, but it's way deeper. Because whenever I hear people use synchronicity and they're like on the outside, so to speak, there's like a, it's really a downplay of what's really going on. Like just a surface level. Like, oh yeah, one thing happened, one thing happened. Oh, I noticed the synchronicity between the two. It's like, no, it was something at work. It was something at work, and I'm a part of that. Like, we all a part of that work.
Churning the cosmic milk.
Yeah, turning it forever. Well, you said insight triggerings. We are all each other's guideposts. Yeah, guidepost check marks. Because we all come to the table with different skills, different experiences, and they're all correlated. They're all correlated. The mushroom showed me through the never-ending story thing. Like somehow, or people say the butterfly effect. Like they just swept the butterfly, slapped his wings, and now it's a hurricane. Like 2 months later, somewhere else. Like how did that happen? Oh, it is related.
Right.
The translation is just symbolic. The actual is far beyond. Yeah, yeah, you will. It's far beyond. It's far beyond. That's the only reason I'm able to see that is way more than a synchronicity is because of these psychedelics and other my experience with them and other people experiences with them, where they just come back with just the simple thing sometimes of we're all one or like there's somebody experienced some shit if all they saying is we are all one. Like that's all they's able to say. they seen they seen how it was all connecting. I was just seeing some flashes now in my mind. That's more of art than words. Hey, Crowley is King, new to the channel. Thanks for coming by. Verbalizing some things almost does a disservice. Some things are better left unsaid. Yep.
That's right.
Just let it play on out. Because then we start involving this self with it. And all the things that we come with. Like we get in the way of ourselves. Sometimes we gotta
How are you
step
gonna
out of
get in
our
your
own
own way?
And the stuff is so strong that we be like, if we step out of our own way, then who gonna get it? I remember complaining to who I'll call an old sage called Samba, and I was like, when I'm taking care of my family stuff, it just seemed like I'm not able to relax because if I relax too much, then things gonna go wrong, and I gotta make sure I'm handling this, I'm doing that, and doing that, and that, and that, or else I don't
Yeah.
even know what's gonna happen. And he is like, "You're doing too much." He said, "Just be you." He said, "Just be you." That's all he said. He made it so simple. I was like, "Yep, yep." Silence is golden. Exile that break. You ever see the movie with Eddie Murphy? Uh, oh, it just went out of my head. And he had the apple tree in the
Golden
background.
Child,
Golden Child. I'm not sure if that's it.
where he goes to Tibet and he
Oh,
saves the.
yeah, yeah, yep. That's it.
I've seen that, dude. That's like that's a child. That's a cherished childhood memory that I've grown up with, and I still watch. And dude, his laugh is so fucking awesome.
Eddie Murphy's the GOAT. He been in so many
Dude,
movies. I didn't see none of these movies growing up. I just seen it last year.
like his authenticity and like his humor, fucking off the chain.
Because with his humor, with that higher level of humor, you start messing with a bunch of forces. Like you even start messing with knowing that you learning something yourself, going through the things you experiencing.
Right, because you put when you watch a movie, you read a book or something, you put yourself in the eye of the beholder. You know, you're there doing the thing.
I really am. Especially when you get a little microdose and watched it. That came after a trip when I saw that video, and it was telling me like quiet down and stuff. And then I showed that video, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna quiet down. I get it. I get it. It makes sense because
There's
he
a
was.
lot you could.
Hmm.
There's a lot in that movie. You could probably keep going back, like the golden or the emerald tablets of Thoth, and keep getting something from it. You know, if the story is told right, then yeah, there's going to be all kinds of things that you don't even see at first glance.
I was trying to think of some verses from the Emerald Tablets, but they're not coming to mind right now. But I was thinking about how his he had the gift of gab, so that was funny that's why he had to stop talking. Well, not that's why, but that's what made it so hard for him to stop talking. He was used to creating things by how he talked, but he
He
had to
got the
see what he
knife
was
by
actually
holding the
creating.
water.
What you say about the
He had,
water?
he had to hold the water and then like make it across and get the knife and then drink the water to put down the fire. He thought, like, remember that?
I missed
There's
that
a bunch
scene.
of
Well, I
there's
didn't
a
miss it,
bunch
but
of
I just don't remember it.
there's like this bottomless pit with a bunch of posts that he had to jump over, and he had to jump one to one to one to get to this knife
Uh huh.
that was inflamed. The knife was inflamed, and he was carrying a glass of water the whole time. It's really fucked up, and he's making fun of it the whole time.
I definitely gonna rewatch it. Like you said, every time you rewatch it,
and,
something else gonna come out.
and then he had to drink the water to be able to get the knife out of the fire, which means like he had to internalize the knowledge because water's like knowledge
Yeah, it
to be
holds
able to get.
memory.
Yeah, because the fire was all surrounding the knife. There's no way he could have grabbed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I definitely don't remember that scene, but that's deep. That's deep. All that's. I was about to start talking about another movie that he was in, but before I go to that movie, I was thinking about the Emerald tablets, and when you was doing a comparison, I was thinking about things that we speak and as we think and stuff, it creates, and that's what that movie was doing. Like as he was speaking, he was creating things, and that's why he had to shut up for a while because he had to see
Yeah.
what he was actually creating and take a step back for a moment and be like, do I want to keep doing this? Like I feel as though I have all this power and stuff, but where is it really going to? And Yoel said it's a great story of the reluctant hero. Cause yeah, he sure was like, I don't want to do this. Like I want to keep going doing things like how I'm used to. I built myself up to a certain point. I'm successful. Let's keep it up. I like those old pictures of just flash in my head. The old pictures of Timothy Leary and all of them, like before and after psychedelics, where they showed him with the big beard, and they was all like Harvard and stuff, scientists before that. They were still scientists, but probably not at Harvard anymore after that. The other movie I
Yeah,
was thinking about was his kid with the imagination and things that she was imagining. It was helping him at his workplace, and it was told in a story, like she told the story in a way which wasn't really related to what he was doing at work, but when he would read it to them and make decisions based off of that story, it was like related. Once he deciphered it, it was related to his job, and it helped him get promoted and all this other cool stuff. I forget what it's called. But all in all, imagination is huge. And the more we start realizing it, and that's what's actually going on, like, and like it's actually creating what we see now. And so we got to like really, I don't know, focus on it, work with it. It's hard for me to say focus on it, work with it, live with it, cuz it's already it just seems so redundant to me now, like duh. But for the people that's like not really come to grips with their mind state, I guess I'm saying that out there for them.
Well, how did you do it?
To come to grips with my imagination.
Yeah. How do you stoke your fire?
Oh, but I don't know. It's kind of hard. It was kind of always hard for me to turn it off in the first place. But
What made you aware of it then?
oh, by just feeling, I just feeling like something was, I don't know, like feeling like I always had a paintbrush on reality. Like by the way that I felt. I don't know, like by feeling content. I don't know how to put it. I
I
don't know how to put it. Just
can't
being
call
open.
it.
Hmm.
That song, J. Cole, I can't call it.
Yeah, I can't. It's just being, always be going towards, always just searching for something, not searching for something, but going into something that I know don't exist but does exist. Like I always had that feeling, like always find, you said boredom. Yeah, not being so occupied with it and with so much anxiety, for sure. When you don't have a lot of anxiety on your mind, is you able to relax and go and see that your imagination is cool, because everybody is really intact with their imagination already. They just kind of go away to how powerful it is because of a lot of traumas that's in there, or a lot of things that they really don't want to deal with right now, and not really given the proper knowledge of what the imagination even is. Like
That's
that
right.
it has this kind of control or power, like we hear it in school and stuff. But when you have troubled times and you go into school where they're trying to get you to use your imagination more and more, you don't really use it that much. You more trouble, like you know how it is in school sometimes for some
Sometimes,
folks.
I don't know, when I was going through school, there was not as much imagination in play as I would have hoped or would have wanted others to have
Hmm.
experienced. There was more of a redundancy, in my opinion, in my experience.
What, the school?
Yeah. But if you
Yeah.
get into like a trade school or a college or something like that, then you can more focus on your specific like course, and then you can like imagine about that. But
Hmm.
it's mostly like regurgitation, like in my experience.
Yeah, I see what you mean. For me, it was every, I don't know. I was always in school, but I was always focused on everything when I was younger. Like I didn't start changing up in school to high school, like 10th, 11th grade. That's when I started feeling like everybody else. Because I actually liked school, kinda. I actually did like school because everything that I was into, I always saw extra from it. Like when I was reading and stuff, or in math or in art and stuff like that, I always like it reminds me. That's why I said I was awesome, and then I convinced myself that I wasn't, and that's when I got depressed. Like literally, I really literally got depressed, and I was emo and all that stuff. So I so but
How?
everything I get into, I expand on it. Like I get too much into it. Like I don't know. Like
You lose the
mm-hmm.
forest for the trees.
Would you say that again?
You lose the forest for the trees. You're not looking at the whole picture. You're looking magnified in, zoomed in on one specific thing.
No, no. I think it is the whole picture. I start seeing how when I was depressed, I was looking at specific things, but before I was looking at outer things. That's why I like the psychedelics. I say it got me back to how I forgot I used to be as a kid. Cause I didn't even after a while I forgot memories of when I was a kid. Like I didn't even have any memories. Like all that was freaking wiped away, and I was literally just trapped into one role. But now that I'm back and getting back into it and relating this back to the school subjects, I always felt like I was a professional in everything that I was doing. Like I was the ultimate artist. I wanted to be the best mathematician. I wanted to read everything. And that's why now as I get older, I'm trying to hone into certain things cuz now I find myself trying to do animation, 2D animation, 3D animation. I'm trying to learn get back into math. I'm trying to read all these books. I'm trying to get back into exercising. I want to be the best
Yeah.
exercise person. I want to I want to do so much. So now I'm learning how to build teams and stuff. But for my kind of mind state, I get into I fully dive into everything that I touch.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's why even when I was into the church, I was like, I'm gonna learn everything about this church. I'm gonna be in the church. I'm gonna be in the choir. I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be giving some sermons. I'm an atheist. Oh, I'm the ultimate atheist. I'm gonna tell you why you shouldn't believe in God. In school. I went to a Christian school and I wrote a report on why God didn't exist. And how everybody in the past created God from the volcano god or when they was scared of the fire and lightning and stuff. So I go balls deep into anything my imagination touch. It just takes over me. That's why I was scared about psychedelics after a while, but then I started coming to peace with it. I was like, man, I don't want to lose myself. And then I run off with some idea. And then you find me running off in the mountains somewhere. But I'm like, hey, whatever happens, happens. And usually I've run across a lot of good ideas that I shouldn't really be, that I found out I shouldn't be fearful of in the first place. It just was programmed to be fearful of those situations popping up and stuff. It's a cool game.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, it is. Well, he said, hold on, Crowley Kane was writing some things. You said most in life use competitive speech, not creative. When they learn creative, it can be scary. The power of ability. Yeah, yeah. And Crowley King, you said alcohol has been impeding my journey lately. Oh, that's why you said why do you go to spirits? You said the submind helps guide those words, so just checking self will keep from altering destructive. The ego in time seeks entertainment, so it's an escape from time bounds. Question. So is it an escape from time bounds? Yeah, yeah. That I think you wrote that when I was Exile asked me why do I imagine so much. It is an escape. It is like an escape from the time that I'm not that I see myself in. It's like I always knew that this wasn't it. That it was always more to it. And all of that was confirmed to myself. Like I'm glad I got a date so I can sound like a book. That trip last August that I had, where I
It's a
was,
reference point.
yeah, it's an awesome reference points, where I had all the flashes of every movie that I watched, every show that I watched, every conversation that I had, all led up to that mystical moment where it all led to me to my big fantasy story getting the revelation, and then now I'm Gandalf or something like that, and now I'm appearing in other people's stories, but it's still my story. It's like I reached that apex at that moment where all the seeking I was doing since I was a kid, like, oh, time don't exist, and all the music I was running into, like Avenged Sevenfold, I'm thinking, and the Beast and the Harlot song, and that song where he said, now take a trip with me, but don't be surprised when things aren't what they seem. I known just from the start these good ideas will tear your brain apart. That was the emo part side of it. Um, where do tear your brain? Scared, but you can follow me. Too weird to live, but much too rare to die. Like that was the kind of music I was listening to, and it was just like always showing that it was this other side to life. Even with the
Yeah,
alien movies I was watching.
that's empathy. That's encoding low wave vibrations into high wave telepathic vibrations. That's something humans are able to do. And it
Man,
was shunned. We call it emo, you call it bad just because somebody's able to feel this. Well, a lot more supposed empaths have been born on this earth since 1979 or 81 or something, when the indigo children supposedly started incarnating here.
oh, don't go on about the indigos. I remember reading about those. I was
Well,
into. I
yeah.
was learning so much about the indigos around the 70s. My mom kept asking me, "Am I an indigo kid?" I said, "Mom, I think you just make it."
Well, it's just a classification,
Yeah,
a certain
yeah.
way of looking at things.
But she definitely is, cause she different than the rest of the family members. Like she one of the ones that switched up the generations. Like once you go over her generation, they all different. They all similar, different. She was like the ones that went out there, wanted to be the model, wanted to try new things in life. Hey, enjoy your day, Crowley King. Crowley is king. Peace out.
That's the expansion of light.
I'm looking for my light right now, my lighter.
Wouldn't that be cool? You just snap your fingers and then a flame came from your thumb or something.
I seen that before, so I know it's possible. I seen it in movies. I'm one of those people who say if I seen it in a movie, it's possible. Like if I seen it in my mind, it's possible. Even if I didn't see it, if somebody just tell me, I'm like, oh, we can make that. That can work. You well said. Like in comics, your comic has now grown. Hey, Jamina, I ain't just gonna ignore you. Give me a hug. Yeah, kissy kisses. I'm like a third grader.
You gonna wipe it off though?
I'm like a third grader. I had to say that. That's why I said I'm like a third grader. Kissy kisses. Thanks. Till now, a major player in the group. Yeah, it is like a major. I was like a major player in the group, and now it's like I'm in, but I'm not at the same time. That's why I'm getting into the animations and everything. Hey, Exile,
Yo,
getting into the animations. It's trippy. It's every
wait,
thought that
wait,
I thought it was gonna be.
wait.
I ain't creating these things. They creating itself. They just need me.
That's right.
I get wrapped up. I can be working on this literally for 10 hours at one sitting. I get up to make sure the kid is cool. I get up to stretch and stuff, get some food. I put on podcasts, music and stuff. And I just be sitting here just moving lines, scrunching my eyes, sitting back and like, oh yeah, let me move this right here. I'm like, that's not me saying, hey, let me do this. It's like them saying, I want this to be like this. I want this to be here. And then sometimes they get my girlfriend to come in and give me some extra criticism. And be like, no, he's black, he need lips. I'm like, okay, I'll draw the lips in there. But the scenes, like that first episode that I created, that was created,
Yeah.
by Taimation Productions. Um,
Uh,
it I started that all off of a test. That's why his first words is test, test, and then I just kept on talking. I was just testing out different mechanics in the program, like how to get the scene to move, how to get the walking mechanics so it can look like he's walking, how
yeah.
to get the toe to bend, how to add sound effects so that he got to do a God, so that every time he stepped, he had some good sound effects. And I was taken all back to my trip. That's when I added that part. It took me back to when I was in hyperspace, watching me match the footsteps to everybody that was walking on Earth. Like they only heard them sound effects because I was doing that in the other reality.
Yeah.
So it felt really powerful, that connection, when I was like, yo, I'm adding the footsteps to here. I was like, yo, I'm adding everything to here. I had to find some nature sound. And I have like 5 different run throughs. And I kept exporting it. I was like, yo, I want to export this now so that I can see how reality was when this was just being here, when
Yeah.
this skill set. And
Yeah.
then I kept
Yeah.
adding things. I got like 5 different ones. By the fourth one I added, I said, oh, I need background scenery, background sound. I don't know the technical term, but I had to add the nature park sounds to it so it can sound like you
Yeah.
was actually in the park. And then I add the bird sounds and all of that stuff, and then me
Notice
saying
the
mm-hmm.
no, notice the first words. This is yelling out to me. Notice the first words of books, of stories, of movies. This sets the tone for the rest of the movie. I learned in English um, from one of my teachers to lay heavily on each word that is spoken. You know, to see get the inner meaning, get the invisible. Going back to OA, what's the invisible side of what's being said. So your first video, your first movie that you or animation, the first thing that was said was test. And our understanding of test, right, would probably signify everything that's going on in and around the time of this making and the whole movie, what it's going to be about, right? You're figuring out certain things. It's so fucking awesome, man. Like where you like it just makes itself, right? If you allow it, if you're there to write it, it'll write itself. So dope.
it You confirmed it right there. Because after I did that, I had the huge imagination of all the forks in reality that can go off from that first episode. I said, yo, this can go on, and I can just keep imagining things from here. He can meet King Oz, and then King Oz can tell him about his trip, and then he can meet other characters. He can grow wings after a while. He can get this gem, and then he can meet Ty, or he can start talking about Ty trips, and then I can animate the trips through that medium and stuff like that, like make it be tie everything into one continuous story, so that then once it gets to like episode 100 or something, people be like, yo, this is nice, and then you find out that it's this whole lineage to it. You're like, I gotta see episode 1, and then people try to find the original sketches, because I like to find original sketches and stuff like that, and then like, yo, this is the mind that this is how you existed right here. Like, yo, that's awesome. Like I get real deep with it.
You see the whole molding, the whole becoming. You see the whole being.
I already seen it.
It's weird how being can be like past, present, and future. That word.
Because it's
You
not.
just seen it. What?
I seen the whole past, present, and future of the show already. That's why I said I'm so comfortable with sitting down and creating it, because I already know. It's like I already know what I'm doing. I just got to sit there and do it. I just got to be able to create the time space to do it. Like make sure I'm fed, make sure the family cool, make sure I'm exercising. But even that, it feel like I
Hey, that
lose
another
myself.
thing I wanted to say earlier. I'm glad you said that. So I didn't want to cut you off, but posture is very important when you're doing something redundant for 10 hours. This comes from experience.
Mm-hmm.
Your core, right?
And keep it open.
Your abs, and then your obliques, and then your back muscles. You can't move without this core. We pull the body, we pull most of our power from our feet. It runs up our body when we're making a movement. But without that trunk space right here, we can't transmit that into other things. This is our hara, where we came from our mother, the navel area.
Or the umbilical
So
cord.
sit ups, back bends, and then like you're a beached whale, like on the ground, and then leg lifts. Um, Dude, and then just sitting up straight, bro, get your posture right, because I've been in that, 10 hours, 12 hours doing things for that long, and definitely posture is important.
Yo, this is the this is a segue. But if y'all want to help out the Todd channel, y'all just heard Exile. Check out the Cash Now app so I can buy a new chair. I've been looking Exile into chairs, and it's like chairs that's made for sitting in for 5 hours, 7 hours,
Oh,
10 hours, and 12 hours. And they said they put a lot of scientific research into like for how long you sit in the chair to help all those things you just pointed out, to keep your core open, your back, so that you're not trying to hunch to get the keyboard and stuff, but you can like still like do the do, do the do. Because like what
that's
you said, the
awesome.
fire. Well, we was talking about fire before. That's where your solar plexus is. That solar plexus chakra. Gotta keep that thing open.
Yeah.
Keep that will open. And hey, little Horner Brassus 365. You the whole year. Oh, but yeah, dealing with all of that. I'm gonna get back into fully doing my exercises. This will be the third time that I'm getting back into it. Cause I felt all the differences when I was doing the back bends and everything, and I was able to hold myself up too for like 30 seconds before my hand started slipping. I got to start all over again, especially with my knees. My left knee started bothering me again because I was skateboard. I used to skateboard a lot, so I got some problems with it. But once I started doing yoga and was really getting into it, actually went away and focusing on it. But it started trying to come back like 3 weeks ago. So I started getting back into my stretches again, just sitting on my knees and just breathing, and then like bending back and just doing some light poses and stuff like that to just get the muscles flowing, get the blood flowing, get all that tension that's probably built up in certain joints, just release them. Cause like I'm releasing a bunch of emotions and stuff alongside with that. Like, oh yeah, getting back into groove, getting back using oiling up the machine so it can run right.
That's right.
Hey,
I
wild man
concur,
ninja.
gentlemen. Hello, gentlemen.
Hey,
I
hey.
Yo.
love it when you talk about yoga and stuff and moving,
Yeah, I
especially the
saw you
back.
doing some rock climbing.
Yeah, man, you got to keep the back healthy, the spine. It's very, very important. Posture. My personal practice, I love to lay down on like a good hard wooden bench, and
Mm-hmm.
then I just breathe. I just start like when you first wake up in the morning and there's like this initial stretch you kind of do. It's kind of like you kind of curl your toes and you pull your arms up in a kind of into your armpits. You're not really doing like a pose like a yoga pose. It's more like this ugly like crinkle, and then you push it out and your ankles pop and your wrists pop. Sometimes you just got to do that little early morning stretch. That's like the first yoga of the day, and then
It
and
is.
then and then from there, you can continue that if you be mindful of it. Most people are like, all right, I'll go to like I'll do this asana, I'll do like a tree pose. I'm like, no, 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 no. Go back to the morning stretch and just curl up in a ball and
You
just
just look real
breathe.
ugly. Just.
And just ugly yoga. Just feel your limbs curl up.
I just
You
did it
know,
just now.
Got
pound
that
on your
ugly
chest,
yoga.
grab your
Yep.
fists, and just slap your thighs and slap your back, and just feel your body. You got to get into it. That's what yoga is: the union of the mindfulness of your body.
Knowing what it can
Our
actually
bodies, man.
do.
I
And
like
no man.
handstands.
Yeah, man. That's one of my faves. After I get all lined up, after I do the bench thing, when I stretch out on the bench, I go do some handstands and some planks and warm up the core more, and the shoulders.
So you do that every day?
No, more like every other day, but definitely when I'm at work. Excuse me. I'm like, I'm looking down at our phones. I'm looking down, so I mindfully think I need to lean back and arch my neck back, and it reminds me of like if you're new to rock climbing, when you first start rock climbing, you start rappelling people off the wall, and you got to look up at them at the wall, and it's a new activity, and you go, wow, I don't actually look up this often. Your
Your
neck
neck
gets
starts getting
sore.
tired.
Hmm.
Yeah, you're like, oh my god, I need to do this more, like just looking up activity, and
King Oscar, don't
especially
look up.
King Oz. Oh, King Oz needs some balance in his life. He needs to go rock climbing, brother.
No, he said 'cause it's a
That's like
I
don't
don't know
look.
if you heard his trip story. My bad. I don't know if you caught the reference. My bad.
No, I got it. It's like don't look down, but don't look up. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the
he
same
looked
thing.
up and he saw a whole random ass planet in the sky that wasn't supposed to
Yeah,
be there.
I remember, man. In fact, yeah, I was just tripping the other day, and I was like, okay, for King Oz, I'm gonna look up. I looked up, and I was like, okay, I'm not tripping too hard, so but
Cool.
I gotta go deeper. But I was like, I'm not seeing nothing, but I was like looking. I was looking for King Oz. I was like, I better look up. We'll do it right now again. Yeah, all right, we're doing okay. We're doing okay. But man, he must have had at least like an eighth in him. Yeah, 4 grams probably
Had to
to be
be.
You,
feeling that.
you probably couldn't see that same exact world unless you're with him at that time.
Bruh. Yeah, it's like that Joe Rogan joke where you just go, you got, look up. That goes on forever.
For real.
Unless that's just another vibration
It's just
that you can
everywhere.
always go to.
Yeah, and the Kilindi IE says you go into the microverse. It goes on that forever that way too,
Both ways.
both ways. And then it's like the movie Over the Hedge. The little hammy character, he's like looking, go right, go left. He runs left, goes down the hedge. He runs right down the hedge. He's like, it goes on forever that way. It's like, it goes on forever that way too.
Over the Hedge was the movie. I watched that a couple times. Not many people watched that one.
Oh, bro,
Yeah,
that has a lot of psychedelic moments, man. Especially with Hammy,
yeah.
that squirrel. That moment, especially where he gets the cookie, or he gives him the soda pop with energy, and he like time slows down to him because he's moving so fast. That's the laws of physics right there.
Yep.
He's moving so fast that time slows down to everyone else.
People just
He
see
goes
that
and
as a
fills the
special
log.
effect. But special
Yeah,
effects is the
no.
magic of reality.
Yeah, that's the animators just putting their little cosmic wink in there, like, hey, this is, check this out,
Cosmic wink.
magic. This is real. If you were doing what Hammy was doing right now and you had the consciousness of Hammy, oh man, this is what you would experience.
That's a good way to
You would be
put it.
going so fast. That's why I think coffee drinkers drink coffee because they wanna be like get that buzz where they're feeling like they're moving so fast that everything else is going slow enough for them to manage their life. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
But
we
then the
are
pot
drugs.
smokers, yeah, and then the pot smokers, they're slowing things down for them so that everything else is just going fast, so fast by that they don't even care.
I had to
Like
go
a
through
snail.
that before. I was like, yo, I'm really
Yeah.
slowing down time when I smoke. Like that's
You're
why.
like, oh, you're like, all I need to do is concentrate on getting across the street, and you're just that little banana slug going, all right, it's gonna take me forever, but I'm concentrating on right now. Gives you the now focus.
Anxiety moving too fast
Right?
in a
But
certain
the
direction.
universe, man, I was just watching Terrence McKenna's last interview, and he's talking about time wave and it's speeding up novelty, and it's true, man. If you don't like jump on, but like people, you delete your fuck Facebook, I delete my Facebook, but then you jump back on because you're like, man, I can't miss out because things are going so fast, man. You got to keep up. You got to pay attention. You're gonna miss out if you don't.
I
Maybe
deleted
in a
my
way.
Facebook twice
See,
and brought it back.
brought it back because you're like, man, forget this thing. I don't need it. And you do that, but then you're like, but wait, am I missing something? I am missing. I'm missing out on like part of the party. You might as well be part of the party as much as possible. As much as possibly possible to be part of the party. See what I'm saying? As multi-consciousness as we can possibly stretch. That's why psychedelic, once you become a psychonaut, you want to do it all. You don't just want to be like, oh, weed's cool. Well, let's try some salvia. Oh, whoa, salvia's deep. Let's try some DMT. Oh, this is all sweet. I'll try LSD and fucking, you know, you're like mushrooms too. Let's bring it on. It comes full circle. And
It's like they all get you
man,
to this place, right? Something out of the body. As
the
long as I don't
knowledge,
die, right? Like it's not a what's the death
the
rate?
knowledge.
That's about the only thing you look for.
We're just collecting knowledge to figure out what's going on, right? We're
Yep.
collecting the data.
And
Yeah.
it all deals
So,
with messing with your neurochemistry and stuff like that. Once you start really getting into that, you start trying a bunch of things. I'm thinking about a lot of people that's been trying even the this not staying lit. The research chemicals and stuff. Like people like
right.
Hamilton Morris.
Yeah, I love it. And they document it. It's so great. We can all see these documentaries now to learn more about these things, get more interested. That's so rad.
And break the stigmatism on it. So that then we
Yeah,
can
man.
actually know which ones are like stay away from those.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, oh man, I've been tripping out on the Jimson weed trip reports. I'm like, man, I don't want to trip for 3 days, 7 days, and not like be in like a dream-like state where I don't even know, amnesic. Like, oh man, that stuff sounds so powerful. The spirit of that plant must
The
be just
Jimson?
the Jimson, the Datura plant. Yeah, it sounds
Oh, yeah. The angel
right.
trumpet thing?
Angel trumpets, yeah, man. Those all those trip reports. Like, if you listen to all of them, they're just gnarly, so
Yeah, I
gnarly.
watched a couple of them. Like, listen to it.
What about
That's
like
amazing.
setting up for like 2 weeks in the dark?
Oh yeah, well that's another technique to try to unleash your natural DMT in your brain, right?
I found
That's
it.
the darkness. Your I think your melatonin levels go up and stuff. So that's a technique like Buddhist monks go into caves notoriously, right? To seek a mindful meditation where you can reach these states of consciousness more,
And
a
that's a
little
long
more,
time.
with a little help. Yeah, yeah, that's a long time to experience darkness.
Yeah, when I think about those kind of things and like what drugs and stuff come into my life, I be now I don't know if I'm just more warped into reality, but I'll be
Yeah,
thinking about my family and stuff like that. I'll be
Yeah,
like, can I
yeah,
really disappear for 2 weeks? Like,
yeah.
or if I do, I'll have to wait to the future and set that to make anything possible. I'll have to now
Or
set that
three
up in my
days.
imagination so I can have the time and money to be like, here, y'all can be settled for 2 weeks while I go do this, sit in the
God,
cave.
Right.
right? Time's so precious. Time's so precious.
Yeah, time is
Oh,
precious.
you never know when you're gonna be like, yeah, like, oh, that's the only moment I ever was able to do that. Oh no, or that's the last time I'll ever see that person. Oh no, like you just never know. But sometimes, yeah, if you have enough mindfulness, you can like make a vacation for yourself in the future and get some good life, experience
Hmm.
points. But you never know. So hard to not just go run for your passions right now. Drop everything and go. But then your reality kicks back in, right? You're like, oh, okay, I gotta figure out a way to at least moderate these endeavors because life's coming at us. It's got its own. We got our own destinies to
It's like The
not to succumb
Sims.
to.
Well, it's The
The
Sims.
karmic acts. We must take action.
Yep. And everything is on
Karma.
timers. You gotta do this
Yeah,
for a certain amount of time. You can do this, and then you just let that run off for a certain amount of time. You come back to it while you go do this.
Speaking
Right
of time,
on time.
I
Right
gotta get back to
on
work,
time.
but I'm gonna I'll mute myself, but I'll be listening to y'all. Love y'all.
Same here. Much love.
Yeah.
Let's
Have a good day.
have a good day, Exile. Just
Yeah. He went back talking about the angel trumpet. He said it makes your body a slave. Any enchantment it will do. It's how you make zombies. Other herbs are added to them to keep them addicted or stronger. I was thinking about the not the Hindus, the voodoo cultures when they make zombies. But I think that's something else. You ever hear that, Exile? The powder that they blow on them, blow on people to turn them into zombies.
Yeah, I have.
You know which what's that's called? What powder drug they using?
No, I
What
don't.
plant? Let's see.
Um, it's been referred to in Carlos Castaneda's work, I
Mhm.
think, and they they call there's a special type of uh, energy that just like brujas, Bruja. It's like the dark Nagual,
B
Najja.
R U G A. Oh, J A.
That's like the dark witch, and then the good the ones that work in accordance or look aren't dark, I guess you could say, are the Naguals, Nagual.
And
And then there's like different, they call them Dons, Don, in his work anyway. Don Castaneda's.
you said N or M?
N is in Nancy,
Got it. Got
Agual.
E. Hey,
They
don't
like
pop it up.
can turn into different animals and they can haunt you and cast certain spells.
I'm looking. I'm showing a YouTube a old picture of a Braja. How you say it again? Bruja, Bruja,
Bruja.
Bruja. Spanish.
Then I like
Oh, it is Portuguese.
he's in a Constantine. He's the oldest male cemetery in the oldest male guy buried in the cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
Papa Samedi or Papa, they call him something else too. But you ever seen that movie Constantine,
Yep.
where he goes to that dude to, and then like he puts his hands on him and fucking sits in the chair. That dude,
Uh huh.
where they fucking make the gold and they make all the guns and shit and they get all that knowledge.
I don't remember
He's
the
like
movie
a,
fully, but I know I watched it. I watched the
I
cartoon
think,
of it a bunch of times too. A bunch of the
I,
cartoons of
th-
Constantine.
I think he's a Papa Samedi. I don't know, but yeah, these like characters, these like sorcerers, these, there's certain alchemy that you can do with the fire and the water and the air and the earth, the ether. And there's like mages, like sorcery. You turn in your own life. You saw like I'm turning from into Gandalf, or going from Gandalf the Gray to Gandalf the White, like just certain ascensions of knowledge. And I think that's why we tell these stories. That's why we have these mirrors of consciousness, mirrors or reflections, is to remind us, hey, this is a giant thing that's going on,
Is
to say
yeah,
the least.
it's a big overarching stories that we all written into. That's all connected and working together.
And you can churn too. There's milk. You are milk, but you can churn the cosmic milk too. Like you can set your ways in motion. Tack against the wind. Even though the wind's coming full force, you can turn your sail to meet it, so you can almost go against the whole wind where the direction is coming from.
Hmm. And keep moving forward, or the direction you're
Yeah,
going towards. You're probably
right.
trying to go back to where you was from. That was cool when Gandalf the Grey turned to Gandalf the White. I remember watching that as a kid. I used to rewatch all the Lord of the Rings a bunch of times. Just to watch. I used to watch him all the way through, all 2 hours, all 2.5 hours, all 3 hours for Return of the King. I was fully enveloped into it. And those stereotypes, how they were speaking to me, is the same way that they were I could say the same way they were speaking to me now. It's just now I'm able to move with it, as you say. I'm able to now
Yeah.
move my sail with the wind, so I can move. Like I've been trained in all. Like I was in the gym, learning how to tie the ropes and be a crewmate. Crewmate, hurry up and
Right.
tie the ropes. Do this, and when you see them hurry up and scurrying up on them tall poles real quick and stuff. That's how I was as a kid. I was taking everything in. I was always always a learner observer type person. Like not learner as in desperate, like as in I need to know, I need to learn this, I need to know this. But just I always felt as though everything, like how the state mushrooms and psychedelics put you into, is that everything is teaching you, everything is guiding you. It's not guiding you, but introducing you into this bigger story of life.
Right, like Sense8. Like, here, let me take a hold of this. Oh, I got this right here. This is how you do it.
Yeah, just like that. Just like that. I always kept myself open to those forces
This
and
is how you
imaginations.
do it. Man, music was such a part of every single day growing up. Sometimes I wake up with a song in my head.
What kind of music did you listen to growing up? What kind of music you
Fucking
had?
everything. Like, just anything that had a melody to it. Like, we just play it.
Uh-huh.
Play it loud.
I
We had an Eagles band that lived across the street for a little while. So they on Sunday nights Saturdays between 10 and 12, because they had sets that night, they would like practice Eagles 10 to 12 every Saturday for it was like a couple months or so. That was super dope.
I used to I can't imagine that. Well, I can't imagine it. That's just a phrase we say. But having a band play across the street from you.
And then I was a drummer. I got my first snare when I was 5, and I was in like band and school, and then like center snare, and then like a couple different bands. And dude, I just love music. And then just learning more about sound and light and
just solidified it.
Right. We talk when we're talking. If there was no tonality in my voice, you'd be very uninterested in what I was saying. Like my voice just went dun, 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 right there.
That's what I learned being with my daughter. The way her voice is always going up and down and melodies and everything like that. And from my mom. My mom is like that. Always expressive. Always expressive. And Exile, before we go deeper, Yoel, he said, do you recall how they knew the ring had power so vast it could corrupt them in the Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speak on it.
Yeah, that was wild.
Tie on it.
Yeah, I'm a tie on that. Because the ring was made a long time ago. It was made like before the movie started. So the forces at B already knew the power of it.
Right.
And they was already searching for it. And how Golem was a huge character. That how he was playing with his two forces back to back, the Jekyll Mr. Hyde thing going on. My precious.
Right.
And how he knew it really was overtaking his life. He was really, because he didn't always look like that. He used to have hair. He was a hobbit. He used to be a hobbit. Regular old hobbit.
He killed somebody to get that ring, supposedly.
Yeah, he did.
I wasn't there,
And that's what warped him. That's what transformed him. He's willing to kill for it. And that he did. It like changed. It corrupted him. And he was like, when Frodo was trying to touch him and stuff, he was like, he had that hissy sound to him.
Yeah.
And then on the bigger scale of that, with Sauron,
Hmm.
how he made the orcs and everything, and had like was crafting them, and they was making more orcs and getting all the army together. Hello, are you sure you weren't there? I was there. I was sure was there. You will. Dun, 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 dun. I used to go to sleep to the soundtrack. I used to watch the soundtrack of it, listen to the soundtrack of it, and my mom used to walk in and be like, "What are you listening to?" I love it. I love it, Mom. I just like it. I go on adventures. I'm whoo.
Do
I'm a
you
star traveler.
do you like Danny Elfman? Do you like are you familiar with Danny Elfman's music?
Danny Elfman. No.
Check it out.
What kind of what type music is it?
It's the soundtracks from the 80s and 90s and 2000s that you have listened to before. You know, movies or with a movie without a soundtrack is fuck. You ever done that? You ever watched a movie without the sound? Like or without music?
Oh, yep. I've done that, and I've combined it with different music before.
Yeah,
I
yeah, that
did.
worked. That's crazy.
I did that with the old with the old Super Friends. I was watching Super Friends and X Men. More specifically, I remember the old X Men, the animated series in the '90s. I was watching that while playing Flying Lotus in the background. Look, his album
Oh,
"Lovers
dope.
Melt," and it matched perfectly. And that's when I first started doing acid too. So I was really in the zone. Tapping
We'll go
in.
back in on it just reminded me Frodo even started turning into kind of Golem. He had that face. The
Yep, he
face
did.
came
His
out of
eyes
him.
turned red, and they had the veins in them. And he didn't know if he should throw it inside the fire in the volcano or not, because the only thing that was able to destroy the ring was the volcano, right?
Right, where it
That
was made.
yeah, where was there was made there? It was crafted at by the elves, right? I think the elves was part of that.
No, the Dark Lord fashioned one for himself, supposedly. I think. A ring to bind all rings.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Each tribe had a ring, but he wanted one that was more powerful than all of them.
Hmm.
And he wrote words on it too. The words was a spell. That's why you gotta know
Yeah,
words are spells. What you writing down, what we saying, everything is all connected. All connected. And it used to glow. The words was only shown on there under a certain light, or when it was put under the fire or something like that.
right.
But back to the corruption and everything, it was yeah. Once it was created, it was out there. So then it just set all these other powers that grew up afterwards to be in search of it. Like we know if we get this, then we're gonna be able to control everything. And that's what it seems
But
like people doing
the only
now.
one who could the only one who could truly control it would be the Dark Lords. Gandalf said that.
Mm. Cause he made it for his purposes.
Right.
Cause he was the chaos. He was the chaos. So, yeah. So then humans and other players and figures and stuff try to get a hold of the ultimate power and try to use it for themselves, the chaos and stuff. And
And
I
just get
think the
fucked
eye
up.
too. You was about to say that?
Well, the eye, yeah, the certain the what are those called? Xanthia stones. Oh, Symanthia. I forget. You know the Seeing stones. One of the hobbits held one too. That I cut out.
No, no, no. I'm trying to think of
Oh,
um what stone that is.
I want to say Zamanthia or something like that.
I'm trying to remember some
Casanthia,
scenes as well. It's not coming.
Philanthia.
They said I'm looking up the
But
iris.
that's
Mm-hmm.
the stone that you use. That's the kind of stone that you use to trip and to record your trips with those kind of stones. Supposedly.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know that. We gotta figure out the name of
Or to
that stone.
travel. Well, they call it something. It's the representation. It's the movie Hollywood version of the actual thing, I believe.
Here it is. The in Lord of the Rings, it was the Palantari,
Helen.
also known as Seeing Stones, the Seven Stones, or the Seven Seeing Stones, were spherical stones, objects used for the purposes of communication in Middle Earth. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, they're circle. They're spherical.
Yeah.
Yeah, the original White Wizard had one.
It is.
Saruman, like
Saruman.
Pokemon. Is there a Pokemon named Saruman?
It sounds like it should be. Yo, they real quick, they made a new Pokemon. I just watched like 15 episodes of it. It's called
Like
Pokemon
a new
Journeys.
season?
Yeah, they added a new
Oh
character
shit.
besides Ash finally, as a real main character. But
Man,
Ash
I'm
is
a
still
Power
there.
Ranger. I'm not
Power
a
Rangers.
Pokemon. My brother's a Pokemon.
I watch Power Rangers too. I used to watch that in the barbershop with my when I used to be at my dad. When I used to hang out with my dad, because I used to only hang out with him at the barbershop because that's where he worked at. So I used to watch Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. But the stone, I remember Kalindi talking about that, and he said he had like a 40-pound crystal stone or something like that, something gigantic, and he was able to
Right,
take mushrooms and see things like that. And that's the same stone that was in The Wizard of Oz. I think he mentioned that as well.
right.
Just being able to see, and I always knew that was possible because, like I said, if I seen it in a movie, I know I did it before. I know it's possible. I just gotta figure out how to do it here, and through this point in consciousness that I am Ty. But then when I'm in other places and I'm not Ty, I certainly can do it in the beyond and stuff. Like in trips
Does
and everything.
everything need to be done?
No, just fun. But no, I remember
I
you told
think
me back to
I think if everything is one, then we are doing
doing it
everything.
already. Yeah, you flashed in my head my friend, my neighbor friend Max, who said to I just take every like you probably do everything everybody say. I take it very esoterically. Like, oh yeah, I really know what you mean. Because when she said about the game, and I was saying, yeah, I didn't end it yet. I didn't beat the game yet. And I was talking about how I didn't play in a long time. I was starting to play. She said, yeah, you don't have to end it. You don't got to beat all the games. Like, you don't have to end every game. I was like, yeah, you don't. You don't have to end every game. I was Kingdom Hearts. That's what it was. I didn't end Kingdom Hearts 3 yet. I was like, yeah, you don't have to specifically end every game because it already is ended. Like, you already is doing it. Now, if you go
Right.
back to it, that's something, but it's all right. It's okay.
I got, as I just disconnected, missed the whole story, and then came back. You don't have to end every game. That's the moral of the story.
Right there. That's how we work over on the Thai side. You said the mind can do by itself what it makes tech for the body to do. Yeah, because the body is just this AI thing, meat body that's really technical, that's really advanced, really way more advanced than we give ourselves credit for. But we are. You said the mind. The mind is shaping and twiggering things around, upgrading the RAM, and all of those cool things. You don't. You said you don't have to. You don't have to play the game to know the story. You don't. It's like knowing a movie from just the first couple lines, and you're like, I know how this is gonna go. And you could watch it and then go through all the ins and outs, like all the emotions and the jump scares and stuff like that. But sometimes you get the lesson of a romantic comedy. But yeah. And your experience is the experience of watching it and observing it and stuff like that. And then calculating it, or like whatever calculations and ideas come from that perspective of observing it. And then you can branch off from there and keep going deeper and deeper. You said letting go of the experience. That's what it's about. That's what that is. That's what that's telling. Letting go of the experience, and like that's how you don't, as Terrence would say, don't succumb to death by astonishment. Like, whoa, everybody protesting. Whoa, this. Whoa, the killing, and whoa. It's like, yeah, that's what they doing. Now what we gonna do?
It's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. It's a maze for sure. It's a maze for sure. And there's a bunch of puzzles and everything. That's all part of it. It's all puzzles. And it seemed like the more we let ourselves go during, like, when we going through the maze, it's like we intuitively able to figure out the maze a lot easier. We intuitively know how to deal with these situations with police and government, self, all of these things a lot more intuitively, instead of struggling trying to figure it out. I find this when I'm playing the puzzles that I'm given in everyday life, like setting up the show, talking. I'm just so good at moving my hands. I figured out how to do that puzzle. But now, like, puzzles that I figure out when I'm in trips or in VR games where you have to relax and move pieces to certain objects, the line up things to get the light to bend, and then go into things like that, but you don't even know that you're supposed to make the light bend in the first place. You just like wandering around and trying to match different pieces. Like, what is it even saying? Like, what's going on? Then sometimes you can hit the hint button. That's like taking a little psychedelic or getting a little insight or something real deep on something beyond, and you like a little whisper in the wind. You said the puzzle is the self. It's when you put it outside of you, it's then hard to adjust. Yeah, when you see it outside of yourself. It's like, where am I trapped in? I'm trapped. I need help. Or I don't even know help. I'm not even looking for help. It's just this despairiness that can come about. You can go into the despair and then find a newfound light and newfound will, which happens in a lot of stories. You look for the tree.
Yeah, you got to bury a seed really deep and dark in a damp place. Every cell in the caterpillar's body becomes something different when it becomes a butterfly in the dark cocoon.
It is. I got a cocoon right here. Show it right there. It's proof. I got a cocoon in my hand right now. It's in the dark. It can't see, but yet it is transforming. It's able to. It's like it's being in the dark so it can imagine what it wants to be, instead of having all this light put into it saying what it is. I was watching a Kalindi episode. A Kalindi talk.
Which one? Number 34?
And he put something into words that was real awesome. He put something into words saying how, and this reality is the generation of the light side of reality. Everything that's light is what we see. That's what's generated, and all of that is connected to our thoughts and ideas. So that's everything that's light is created by thoughts and ideas, and the darkness is the other side. And that's another side of reality that we experience and stuff and go to in deep meditations and trips and things like that. But what's the difference?
That's right.
So light is awesome.
Do you have any personal experience with that topic?
Of us being, yeah, the you can tie on the hey infinite love, it's talking about the generating experiences in light, bunch of things. But yeah, the electromagnetic spectrum, I remember running across that in school and stuff, how they say everything that we see with our two eyes and stuff is based off the electromagnetic spectrum. And even the electricity is in that spectrum. The rainbow light. Wait, hold on. Whew, for some reason I gotta breathe for a second. All right. Sorry, I couldn't catch up with myself. Get out the way real fast. But with the electromagnetic spectrum and everything, I was learning the light from like the black to the I don't know what I'm talking about. The rainbow. Let me just look
Yeah.
it up. Hold on.
From what we can see to what we can see.
Yeah.
From infrared to ultraviolet. There's a specific nanometer range. We tested in light temperature. We measure light in temperature. So at a specific temperature, certain colors coalesce, and then you can see like the gradients in between. There's no real set.
There you go. Thanks, XL. For some reason, none of the scientific terms was coming to me. I was just, I was trying to say some of the terms before I went to the woo. And my mind was just not letting me. But yeah, with the gamma rays and the X rays, the ultraviolet rays, those ultra low frequencies, the subatomic rays, all of those things, I was learning about all of those. I was like, I was learning the science of how those create reality, and that's what we see and everything. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Like but it has to be another side, and that's when I was before. This is all before psychedelics and stuff, and I was just getting my learning, my training, and I was learning then about dark matter. So I was like, they were saying, oh, 98% of the universe is created by dark matter, but we don't know what it is, but we know it's 98%,
Yeah.
and that it
They
generates
just call
reality.
it dark matter. This is what it's called, but we don't know what it is.
Yeah.
How are you going to say that?
And we're going to create a whole science based off of it.
Oh, so how are you just going to name that? Doesn't make, yeah, for sure. Have you seen Nassim Haramein's mask? Or like the black hole? It's called the black hole. One of his talks is called the black hole.
No. Oh, wait.
I don't know if it's been.
The Nissan Harriman?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know him. I've probably seen it. I watched hours of his talks.
That's probably more likely what's going on, I think. Like some kind of expansion and contraction. Because we can tell the universe is supposedly expanding at a rate. You know, what's causing that expansion?
Something on the other side.
Yeah, how are electrons able to carry the same trajectory from the beginning of time? That's a lot of energy. Little motors. You got little motors in it. You got little hamsters and the electrons running around.
That's how it's wild. And then with my trips being on the beyond, and then actually coming back and going when I feel as though I'm creating myself and creating what I like and dislike, not dislike, but just my personality. Whenever I come back from trips and feel myself settling back into all of that and generating everything back, I'm like, yeah, this is all created through ideas and things floating around and waves, like all the waves and everything's our ideas because they all exist. They all are actual things, and they're creating things. Everything is creating something else, through a medium of something else, as they exist in other forms and things like that. And they're all tickling down on different realities, or this what happens when all of these form this way. This what happens when all of these, when we come together like this. But this is what happened when we talk about this. We form this reality. We form this kind of stuff. We form that. Like that's what I feel as though I'm doing. But then I say, oh, I like this, I like this, I like this. And then that's when I start forming back into this. Like, I like the grass, I like the green grass. I like the blue sky. I like that this is a fence. I like that this is a person.
You don't like lighthouses, you suck.
Yeah.
You-
So that's my experience with knowing like that this is all generated through light and through ideas and stuff like that. And that caused me to enjoy it. That showed me to enjoy it more, to enjoy it side more. Because there's still sides you don't like, but that's just how it is. It's like when you painting the painting, and then you like, man, I wish I would have changed this, or I wish I would have did that stroke like that, or used that color. But now it exists like that, and that thought going to pop up still in that experience because you observing the painting and looking at the painting. So you're putting, as you said, the energy is not from here, it's projected here. You're projecting that energy into the painting, so then that painting, something can, I'm just telling you, like something can pop up in that painting, like a point in experience in that paint could be like, man, I don't really like myself. I wish I was green, or people keep, or not even like myself, or the other colors keep looking at me thinking that I should be another color. And it was all probably because of that one thought, because all thoughts exist in the mind of the creator, because the creator is a madman. Not even a man, but a mad thing is something that's not attached to one thought or the other. It's just, this is my creation, this is my baby, like for good, for
right.
better, or for worse. Like, I know me. or I want to, but I want to experience, but I'm not able to experience me unless I do it in this other way. So, or I wish to. I can't. There's no words for it.
The eye cannot see itself.
Yeah, the eye cannot. I saw you said it plain and simple. I did an experiment with by accident, or coinky dink. I had the character animator, and it can and it can track your face when you're moving around to change the eyes and everything around, and
I
eyebrows.
saw your little animation dude was talking the whole time when you're on your garden video.
Oh yeah, I lip synced it to
That's
my voice.
dope.
Yeah.
Was there like a sensor that you had on your mouth to do that? Or are you doing that like with the 3D tracking?
No, I had to do that with the programming inside. Like, I turned it to to an MP3, and then I had to create different mouths for like ooh and ah and stuff like that. And then it's the program that helps you map it all out for you, and then you can change it around if it made any mistakes.
Oh, so it automatically tracks it. Do you so you don't have to set the triggers or anything?
No, not for the mouse. Not for the mouse. For
That's
everything
dope.
else, yeah. But they put a lot of work into making sure the lip sync is pretty cool.
That's dope. It's just going along with you.
Oh, the experiment is how I did. I put it tracks your face, so then I turned it around so that it was tracking its own face.
What?
And it
And what
started
happened?
moving around. I said, why is it even moving around in the first place? These are thoughts popping in my mind. Why is it moving around in the first place? And it made an angry face. I was like, what is going on? It was moving around. I'm gonna see if I can do a live example real fast for people. Let me see. Let's move this screen up. I was doing it with the King Oz example. I made a character of him. Hold on, let me see if I could do this so I could say what it's doing. Here it is right here. I'm gonna have to turn the camera off on this so I can turn it. I'm not sure if I'm be able to do it. I think I'm gonna need two cameras. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna record it, and then I'm gonna put it back, and then I'm gonna put it back up. I'm gonna upload it as a video. I think I actually already did that. Because my daughter was here and I was recording on the iPad. I said, yo, we got to record this. But yeah, since my camera is linked to OBS, it's not letting me turn it over to the other character animator screen. But I can
show OBS free?
Walking. Yeah, OBS is free. You just got to do a lot of tinkering and stuff to get things to work. But it works. He's walking. He's walking this way. I got him, rigged him to walk back and forth. This took like 2 days. But I'm getting better at it. So now it's a lot easier to actually push out. And
That's
here goes
dope.
Another character I was working on.
There you got the foot drop. When I first learned about that, I was like crazy. Like things aren't always how they seem. Sometimes they're faster or slower, and depending on how you present them can look a different way.
Yeah, that's why I loved cartoons all the time. Cartoons always showed that. Cartoons always, and watching the behind the scenes on how they made the cartoons. That's why I was asking myself for a while, like, what is it that I want to do, like, here while I'm here, that I would, like, be able to stick to and stuff. And I wanted to go back, because I said most people that's doing stuff that they love, they've been doing it since they was a kid, or it's something that they attached to when they was younger. And then I started just asking the mushroom and stuff. You well said, make a dance video. I should make an animation one. I had that thought already because the walking animation started wigging out on me, and I was like, "Yo, it just looked like he dancing. I should just put some music in the background."
King Oscar, break it down, break dance real quick, head spin.
What was I talking about? What did I mention?
Oh,
totally gone. Oops.
Ow.
Oops, I dropped that thought. Whew. These earphones hurting my ear. Oh, I was saying I was happy that the mushroom was showing me things that I was enjoying as a kid. Because I was saying I actually forgot a lot of things that I enjoyed as a kid. I just was always dealing with the moment. And then I just remember a lot of high school stuff. But then, again, not really. But now I do. Because I've been asking myself. I've been, like, asking my, as we could say, my higher self. And I've been getting the memories and the visions and stuff back. Of
like, oh, yeah, I like doing that.
Yeah. I like cartoons. Or I used to watch and be interested in behind the scene, watching them draw the characters and stuff. And Mickey Mouse. And the behind the scenes of movies and the green screens. I always like watching that stuff. So now that's what I want to go into. Or that's what I've been already doing this whole time. It's not even I want to get into it. That was like I was in school the whole time to do this. Like now when I'm on Premiere Pro, it's bringing me back to when I used to edit rap videos and stuff. So now that I'm learning character animator, I don't have to learn Premiere Pro now. It's like I already know how to do Premiere Pro. I know, so now I can do extra layers on top of what character animator can't do. And now I'm learning green screen things and learning that how you can fake things with reality, and knowing that you probably want to do things like that because all reality is a green screen anyway. That's the mushroom showed me in that trip. So it's like as I'm progressing, I'm just getting layers peeled back more and more. That's then And this body right now is the same. Is like not the same. It's the same, not the same level of training, but the same essence of thought going, being channeled through.
Right. Is that air you're breathing?
Black Wolf always says that. Not really. I just imagine it to be a bunch of oxygen and nitrogen and whatever else is floating around. Yeah, I love these talks. I feel I keep getting real lightheaded. Not real lightheaded, but I just felt the rush just like go from my neck all the way up to my head. Like,
When you breathe, breathe like your kids do or used to do when they're babies. When you breathe in, let your stomach expand. When you breathe out, compress your stomach. This draws the lungs downward, getting more circumference in the lung, more airflow, more surface area.
I swear, bro, that's why I be burping a lot.
You'll move your whole, this is how you pump. This is the pump.
And the stronger you pump, the more it can hold and pump out at a faster,
Yes.
a more efficient rate. And
Yes.
I was listening to the Hoffman guy, I think, the
Mm-hmm.
Wolfman guy, I think that's his name,
Mm-hmm.
and he was talking about how it changes the pH of your blood,
Mm-hmm.
and that's beneficial for a lot of reasons. That will probably come out in ways we don't even know, but just being prepared and just having that drive already, making moves, just making moves, making
Your
moves.
body is able to be more fluid.
Be more fluid, and that means that the mind is more fluid too, because the body is. The body wouldn't
Yeah.
be able to be fluid if the mind wasn't. So then you're able to
You,
do more magic.
you ever fast for a little while
Yep. The
and
longest
then
I did was 12 days.
holy shit.
Yeah. It was before psychedelics. And then that's when I
Wow.
started hearing the voice that was leading me to psychedelics. Because I used to think I was going, mad, crazy, but I was reading the esoteric books and I was like, yo, these thoughts gotta be right somehow. And but I was fasting and I used to go on a rooftop where I was able to see the whole city. That's where I recorded the Just Time minisodes. If you type them in, I used to go up there and say I wanted to just connect with whatever was I was my higher self, like whatever was supposed to be out there.
Yeah.
So I was fasting and stuff like that. But that was the result out of that. I started hearing little whispers, and then I started seeing YouTube videos about psychedelics, saying that this is the next key and stuff to the next step. Because there wasn't
What
nobody
happened?
around me talking
What
about that
happened
kind
to
of
your
stuff.
mind state after you ate?
If I can remember, I don't know. I was chilling. Like I wasn't in a rush to eat. And and the taste buds and the way food was coming to me, I was more aware of what I was eating, like more aware of what I was putting in my body in the way of, I don't know. I'm trying to remember. I've been through so much. I've been through so
Oh,
much.
it's like I was kind of trying to relate fasting the body with food with depriving your body of air.
You're probably and having to inhale back in
Well,
real quickly.
if we're not fully breathing, then we're not fully eating.
I feel what you mean. I'm just playing through it now. Yeah, yeah. So it's like a full balance and stuff like that that always needs to be shared.
Well, can be, right? We don't all need to eat the same thing. We don't all need to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Some people eat differently. Some people eat, I mean, the same thing with breathing, right? Like, I'm not saying to do something, but just being aware of that food, being aware of that air. Because we can, okay, so like telepathy is a high frequency, like store a lot of information, move very quickly. But then frequency vibration is where our cells are, where our body is. Like that's the feeling, the being part of it. That part of, um, so definitely those can get disconnected if we go too far into one area. You start working out just all about your body. You forget about your wife, your kids, or whatever, job and stuff. But maybe that's your focus. Maybe that's you're a bodybuilder. I'm not saying. I'm just saying, like, be aware. Like that breath when we're journeying is important. Because your body is important when you're journeying. Like the base, the landing pad where you launch from.
I know I got a more better picture what you mean now. That when you on a journey, sometimes you are going to make those moves where you making sacrifices, and it seems as though you playing that role where you going all balls in, where probably you sacrificing things with your family and stuff in order to make certain moves, or sacrificing things that you know should be more balanced, but you like, all right, I gotta make this happen right now, and then when you do all of that, something like the movie stars and the actors or um magicians and stuff that go far out and forget about their families, but they became really successful, and then they be like, oh man, I wasn't that aware of my family, I need to like do some more for them now. Now they recognize that balance again. But if sometimes you can be aware of that balance while going at what you want to do at the same time, like
Right,
go
that
using
ebb
the
and
energy.
flow,
Yeah,
the expansion and compression, the in breath and the out breath.
like what I'd be balancing out with the channel, going having to cut it off because my daughter here, instead of saying, I know I got a good another 2 hours I can squeeze out right now. And like, all right, I see all the universes that's dealing with her and me, so let me go do that right now. And with breathing and everything, you get caught up in all the people. We all get caught up a lot in all these diets, especially when they first introduced. Like I know I did when they was first introduced new things. Now I have more of a keen sense to what's going on. But when I was learning and in the field, oh this diet, oh the go full vegan, oh go vegetarian, oh go Presbyterian, oh, whatever it is when with fish. But even with religion, be this religion, go be a Christian, go be a Catholic, go be a Presbyterian, go be a 7 Day Adventist, go be a Muslim, go do this, go do that. If to me that's all to being for my revelation, that's all just going too much into one thing. And like it's good and it's going to get you there, but it's not being too much aware of everything else that's going on. Presbyterian. Thanks, Infinite Love. That's what the fish is. We don't eat fish, and I did all of that. I wasn't eating fish. I was eating being a vegetarian. Then I went vegan. Then I was eating meat. And I said I'm not going to eat red meat. And I was like I'm not going to eat strictly organic. And then I said no, I'll let go. I'll eat a little natural. It could say natural on it. And then and then yesterday I just bought some beef that just said good for tacos. And I was like, oh, this look good. I want to make some tacos. I didn't get my farm pasteurized and all that non-pasteurized whatever I be reading on there that sound fancy meat that I still get. But I wasn't so hung strung over it. I'm just having fun. So that balance factor is a big key. Is a big key, and mushrooms and everything, mushrooms and psychedelics, they really put me into put things into perspective. Like you say, hey, this is what you really doing. This is what you think you doing. You don't know what you're doing. Ease up on yourself. Ease up. Be aware of this too. This is going on over here. And that's when you start being the genius. Start really being a genius. Inspirited by a genie. Yourself. Different genies too. Like we was talking about, like how the Sense 8 thing. Like all the different cells popping up for different ideas and different skill sets and stuff. And when you tap into them strongly, you start really tapping into them. You start knowing how to fix certain things, starting fixing electrical things that you was never able to fix before. Or put together a table or something simple like that. Whatever your level expertise is. You said rituals is a translation. Yeah, rituals is, you all said rituals is translation. And everything we do in here is a ritual. Down to the words we speaking. Words we speaking, the way we move our hands, the way I put my hands right here on my chin to symbolize that I'm thinking or that I'm contemplating or it's all symbols. The myriad of angles. I mean, yeah, angles, angels, same thing. Angels singing knowledge. Singing
Right?
it too.
That's why geometry is so freaking cool.
The way the dot becomes the line, becomes the
Yeah, the
triangle.
line. If you were watching the dot become the line in negative space, you wouldn't know which way was going which. There's no direction. It's just-
Yo, bro, I remember first learning about imaginary numbers and being like, this is a thing? This is a real thing? Like the square root of -1? And that complex numbers. And, whoa,
Yeah.
that. This is a perspective? -1? Like, the
And
square root of,
pi.
yeah, and pies? Hey, it just keeps going.
Fibonacci sequence, how inside a sequence, a sequential sequence, there's a infinite embedded fractal structure. It's crazy.
And that's just the Fibonacci sequence. Imagine another set of infinites. Oh gosh. You ever think of that?
Like,
Infinity plus infinity. Or hey,
how
God,
would you
huh?
add it to itself?
You can though. It's oh,
I
I
think
my you,
in an ultimate, and it's like an ultimatum and how do you say that? In like infinity can encompass every single multiplicity there is. So I don't know if you could ever double it in a how do you say it? Like a concrete, if you're concrete defining it. Is that logical?
uh-huh. I used to not have this. What I'm about to put you on something, XL. I used to not have the concrete thing for me to talk about all the experiences, but Vsauce. You heard of Vsauce YouTube channel?
For sure, for sure.
He has a video um where he count it's a video talking about counting past infinity. And when and after watching that and the way he put in the words, I wish I can get it all now, but it was so high math stuff going on that he was saying that when I was watching it, I was like, this, duh, like, wow, like, thanks, Vsauce. I'm gonna have to watch it again. Cause I don't know how to put it in the words right now, cause it's mostly all math, and I'll have to kind of repeat in his word and how he put it, so I can then put it into my words again after that lessons go through me again. But
If somebody created it, then it probably exists.
yeah, yeah, but yeah, it was like N0 was the first infinity. You had N to the other zero, not to the other zeros when N is on the bottom. It's just like N0, not into the power at the top. And you're talking about cardinal numbers. Ah, man, I had to watch it again. It's been a couple years since I saw it. It came out 2016. I think I watched it again like last summer. He's talking
I
about.
think my argument towards that kind of, because if he's doing different algorithms of infinity, then he's creating those.
Uh-huh.
Like he is creating the different infinities, but
As we go, as
the
he goes.
like infinities plural, like that's just a part of the whole one. Like
Uh-huh.
we have no words to actually describe. We talk about it like that's the actual thing. I don't think there's a name for it, or we couldn't. We'd probably explode if we ever said the name for the thing.
I'm thinking about the old religious sayings when they used to say don't mention the name of God, or you like the
There's
infallible
probably no
name of
name.
God, or you like
There's
you
probably
explode. They do say exploding, but like you can't encompass it or stuff like that.
yeah. There's a ritual talking about rituals that they do in Judaism. I think I could be wrong, but all the rabbis get around. There's like 250, 240, or 144 of them, or something like that. A certain number of them get together and they start go, ah! They start screaming and waving their hands and everything. And then this guy in the middle, like sneaks down and then like gets on his knees or something, and like says the name really quietly while like everything's going on crazy around him. You ever heard of that?
Mm-mm.
I'll have to find out exactly which one that is. Or my referential. Yeah, they do it like once a year or something, or once every 4 years or something.
Yeah, I never heard of
They
that.
say the name it. They say the unutterable name of God.
You well, he said, one can equal zero, and infinite is between all. To add it to itself, wait, to add it to itself, add anything. Between one and two is infinity. The true, and then he said the true name of all is the doing and the undoing of all. I think he's talking about the ritual you was just mentioning.
Hmm.
Yeah, with one and two.
Yeah, between one and two is infinity. So what you divide two in a like or hold on, I got you on YouTube. It's crazy. Back 1.5, and then divide that in half. 1.25, divide that in half. 1.125. And you can do that forever and ever and ever. And you're never going to reach one.
Yep. Yeah, I guess it's where you starting at, wherever you start at. What point? So then each one is an infinity, like going down that track. Go starting from what you're saying. I'm branching off what you said. So then whenever you start at, that's what infinity you win.
Right. And you can say that's a different one, but it's still a part of the same one. That's my argument.
That you keep zooming out, and then it's whatever infinity you think you part of a bigger one.
Yeah, you're still part. You can't get out of it.
Like you thought you knew.
It's the doing, the true name of all is the doing and doing of all.
And that thing that can never be known is just something that can never be known or said.
It's a beautiful
The
thing to be in a spot in life where you're able to ponder these things. And I think that's part of the reason why you come back with knowledge and want to share it.
Yeah, everybody likes to share too. And that's why we create more technologies to share, even with language. Language, dancing, art, talking. The way we dress, the way we walk, the way we smell, the smells we create, the things we create, technology we create. It's all representative things that we seen. Not that you seen as a baby, but things that we seen that the eye has seen. That I have seen.
Layers on layers, like an onion.
And that's why when
That's
people
why they call it like
Mhm.
channeling. You know, digging that hole to the center of the core. Get to the source.
You talking about channeling with people?
Or channeling knowledge, or
Oh.
channeling
Mm-hmm.
water.
Oh yeah, you are tapping into the source and displaying it somewhere else. It'd be a big reservoir. It come out a fountain, a beautiful fountain with Zeus popping out. I'm thinking of the fountain around the corner that has Zeus and a bunch of mythical figures, Greek figures popping out of it. And then like they not the source, they just tapped into the source.
Right.
And they able to display what they do because they're tapped in. So just tap on in. Or just
Right.
be aware of how tapped in you are. Or, you know the
We are the
layers.
ones we have been waiting for.
Yeah. That's what they say.
That's what they say.
The time is now. The time has always been now. That's why I'm loving getting into this animation. This animation where I'm gonna be able to display a lot of things, ideas, either if they off the whim or if it's a trip story or I'm recreating a podcast. Is all awesome. I'm just happy to really
Yeah.
be taking part of it.
That's dope.
Man, because I learned from all the greats. That's like I seen like the mushrooms, man. Like they just get all that, like whatever you get into when you start getting into mushrooms and stuff and you really apply yourself. It's like I said, they show that you already been training for this all your life. All your life. So when I say I've been taught by the greats, I've really been taught by all the greats. I've even been taught by J.R.R. Tolkien.
Right?
She talked about all the greats as if they was personally right there in front of me talking to me.
Yeah.
Like saying, hey young man. Or hey guy. Hey person, hey human being, hey essence. This is what you're going to be doing as an essence. You're going to be getting into this awareness, and that awareness is going to be manifesting this and that. This is how this story can go. This is a story that gets this kind of emotion, this kind of reality that can be created to get this kind of emotion to be felt and produced. It's awesome. Hopefully you can hear me, Yolanda. Yeah, I like the awareness. Hello, well, why is it so funny you think the awareness? Oh, yeah, I like Dr. Seuss. What you mean, you will? Oh, you think you gotcha. You think the awareness. Yeah, you do. Like now as I talk, you know how I always zoom back sometimes, which will probably, now I'm not even going to put that curse on the channel. I'm going to refresh that mind state, get that out of here. But when I'm on the show, I hear myself producing myself sometimes while I'm talking. I just lost that whole thought. Yeah, I guess that's too beyond right now. Yeah, Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss was really cool. Dr. Seuss is really cool. He always had all the colors, and you know how much Dr. Seuss was pushed on us as a kid. My daughter right now has about 15 different Dr. Seuss books. And he was a good artist. His mind state and what he was producing in the world, he has some art I showed on the podcast before, where it wasn't totally like how he did in his books, but it was very, very like this guy just did some acid or something. Let me show y'all real quick, cause that was a long time ago. So, well, not long time ago. But here we go. Here goes something right here. Wait, the cat behind. Oh, well, I was like, that's one right there. I think somebody redid that one though on the with digital art, because he painted with acrylics and sometimes oils and stuff. And this was his actual self-portrait. This was only self-portrait. He made himself as like an animal, like worrying or something like that. And here goes some trees he painted. Talk about perspective. Yeah, I guess I will talk about perspective. When when I was growing up, and just all going back to the story on how everything and always sets us up for what we want to do in our lives. We just have to believe in ourselves. Have to go like all whims sometimes, like all go out, but keeping that strong awareness. That's why I like that mushrooms keep you in, so you don't fall for the stories that we already saw on TV of the guy going out to do his dream of wanting to be a magician and leaving the family behind and doing all that other stuff. But being, hey, we can take everybody along for this journey. We can all grow together. Probably along the way, the daughter gonna start doing things that outrun me. Hopefully. But Dr. Seuss and perspectives and stuff like that. And when I was drawing the perspectives on the animation and stuff, I was taken back to my art teacher. I just kept getting flashes of when I was in middle school, and the lady with she had gray hair. It came down past her shoulders, wore glasses. It was like a really like stereotypical art teacher. Like, I mean, life is a movie. She had the glasses with the strings that ran over her ears just in case they fell and stuff like that. But I was really into art, and that was my real last art class. But I just kept having her voice in my head, her showing us perspective when she was talking about the Renaissance art and talking about Da Vinci and saying how they invented perspective and stuff in art. I was like, how the freak you invent perspective? Like, people don't know about what? Well, that's what they did. They put a new twist on art and added 3D depth and perceptions and things, and saying adding the center point. That's what I fondly remember saying. Yeah, at the center point right there, and you can draw the lines coming out of it, out of it, to make it seem like you're going into the picture. Like, that's a real thing. Like, to draw something that seems like you're going into the picture, like you're warping. You're so much playing with the imagination that you literally have the words to say. You're making it feel though you're going into the picture. You know how it is? Like, mushrooms reveal all the veil. Like, you on the veil, when you say you're on tripping and you come back and say, I was in the picture, you was in the picture. So, so that symbol of feeling like you're in the picture, when you create something that can make somebody feel, say those things, that's the magic ticket. That's the magic ticket right there. That is certainly the magic ticket that allows one to travel. And that's what we hear. It's just, that's what I heard all the time. I just didn't know how powerful all those sayings really was. All those, and why people are putting the respect that they are in life. Because there's a lot of haters that would just be like, man, it ain't nothing. I can do that too. Or like, it's a whole thing that's being generated. Like, their story is calling for that. And they created that. It's wild. Hey,
Speaking of fire, we're coming up on the Summer Fire Festival, the summer solstice, bro.
June 21st?
June 20th to 22nd, really.
Oh, cool.
Kind
I
of
just
around
know
those
June
areas.
21st because that's Go Skateboard Day.
Oh, for sure. That's how I remember it too. The 21st of like any of the equinox or solstice months. But it's like they usually partied, 1 or 2 days before and after that too, because there's a concrescence, there's a rising and falling of the energies, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we can definitely feel it because we're talking about fire. I mean,
Yep.
some of the main things are sage, mint, basil, St. John's wort, sunflowers, lavender, uh, potpourri, seashells, fruit, blue, the colors blue, green, and yellow.
I just found some mint yesterday. I found a new wild mint garden, and I had tried to uproot some so I can replant it. I don't know if I gotta see how it's doing today.
Yeah, they'll grow fucking great. You keep some water on them, they'll grow like kind of like a vine and go plant themselves other places.
That's how it looked where I was at. I was like, how did this even happen? I got some spearmint too. I got some basil
Ore-
growing in the garden.
Oregano does that too.
Oregano.
In ancient times, the summer solstice was a fire festival of great importance, with the burning of bale fires ritually strengthened by the sun. Native Americans here in North America do like a sun dance where they'll impale a male. I don't know if they do the women. They'll impale him and then hang him from a tree,
Whoa.
and then he'll stay there all the time until he'll dance and rip himself off.
Uh huh.
And that's the point,
That's a
like the
strong
end of the
will. That's a strong fire
right.
that had to burn to do all of that. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna figure this out. I was yo, I should do a live stream or something. Get the barbecue. I got an actual fire pit. Do something on this summer solstice at a certain time. You know they go and stream the Stonehenge live for the first time during the solstice on the
Really.
internet. I'm probably gonna tune into that as well. As these rituals been going on for a long time, and as we were saying
Been
before,
going
us
on.
participating in them is like in our own way, in form and fashion, remixing stuff all the time as we go. We That's us participating in. I mean, showing the translation of what we're actually doing. Excuse me. Of what we're actually feel as though the I is doing. I is doing all the time. So it's just a dance, like a play. Whereas like you really living it out. You really living that character out. Like I'm the forces of the wind and I like
Yeah, I
all
want to
that
go
stuff.
to all the like places that you could find that have specific alignments and then film them and then put them on the internet.
Let's make it a mission.
I'm down.
They got Dakota Earth traveling everywhere. It's another YouTuber. We could do the same.
Yeah, he was stuck in Peru.
Ooh, yeah, for 4 months. 4 or 5 months. He just made it home. What would you have done if you was him? I was thinking I would have traveled. I would have
Probably,
probably walked on foot to another country and caught a plane.
I don't know.
I know.
If you're in a
Ayahuasca
good
retreat.
place, yeah, if you're in a good place, I mean, there's certain things why certain things happen, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know if you could call it a coincidence or you could
Mm-hmm.
call it like
Because
intent or
he got a channel and then he just so happened to get stuck at an ayahuasca retreat for 4 months. That was that he was supposed to finally be there. I mean, I read
you're
Yolanda
gonna
Mark. She
learn
said finally,
today.
man. But yeah.
Cedric and Bernie Mac, man. Oh my gosh. Bernie Mac. Eddie Murphy. Yeah. Good fucking comedians, bro. He's
Yep.
got that the way to relate being in a real way.
I grew up watching the Bernie Mac show.
Yeah, sneak up on your kid.
That was my
Get him when
show.
they're young.
I
Want some cookies.
felt his voice coming in my head sometimes when I was with my daughter. I was like, oh, that was Bernie Mac right there. I'm sorry, Lila. I done told you a million times. And that's who he was. He was his character, and he was his character, and it still had his overall message to say. Like no matter who I am, like this is still like what's cool. There's like we still shouldn't do things like this. I still see things in family situations like this that we need to address. We need to stick up for our family members. We need to address the drug situations in families. We need to really be there and still be ourselves so we can be there for other people. The whole 9 yards. Oh, Yolanda said
That
she was just talking about Bernie Mac yesterday. And with Eddie Murphy, he pretty cool. He play guitar and stuff too now.
yeah.
So he's singing. He got both vibes going on. And he showed that you can really remix life as much as you want. He got, wait, how many kids he got?
Don't know.
Eddie Murphy kids. He has 10 kids.
All right.
10 kids about he and hold on. Cause it was a picture that just came out in December. Yeah, he's the proud father of 10 different kids. And they was showing all his wives and stuff that he had and stuff, but they was all together in that one picture.
Yeah.
So I'm just showing like life is what you are. Like not what you try to
Yeah.
copy off of somebody else. Oh, I lost it. Oh, they trying to get me to subscribe. I'm not subscribing to USA Today. Okay, I'll turn the ad blocker off to get this point across.
His fucking laugh, bro.
That's what got him across, and it's infectious. It's infectious for
Dude.
sure. And like we were saying, when you able to infect somebody and bring them to say things like how we say it now, that's the
Dude,
magic
Bob
ticket.
Marley said that. Bob Marley said that. Inject. You get that from I Am Legend too. Like, inject it with happiness, inject it with laughter, inject it with that emotion. That's the compression and expansion. Yeah, bro. You can light 1,000 lights with your light and still not, and your light won't be dimmed.
Yup. I was just thinking about all of my different laughs. I was cataloging all of mine. It's still another laugh that only come out on the channel sometimes. But they only come out to me sometimes. Oh. They get real high pitched and everything. Oh, it's funny. I'm funny.
For sure.
But
That's why I'm here.
I remember listening to Wiz Khalifa laughs. I was like, yo, that's funny to me too. I listen to
There's no
everything.
if there's no immediate humor in like the first like couple times I meet somebody, then I'm probably not gonna keep going around because I like having fun and I'm naturally joker about things. There's not too much things you should be totally like I don't know. Life is what you make it, right?
Yep.
It's there's certain things that we're working through, and there's certain things that we got to do. But there's a certain like focus you can have with it, or a certain like attention.
In order to make it happen. I was thinking at least on the light side we got all this control, and then on the other side we got control too. It's just that when we go over there we gotta remember. But yeah, that's another story.
Well, as above, so below.
As below, so above. Whoever made that statement, the first person to write that down, did they say it was Thoth? That first said, as above, so
I don't
below.
know. I don't know.
Let's see who recorded in this reality's history of saying as above, so below.
Well, we can't really tell, right? Because certain
Who wrote
the
it
internet
down?
only goes back so far. Yeah,
Oh
right.
yeah, I thought it was they saying that they trying to say the first person to say that was Hermes Trismegistus. To write it down was Hermes Trismegistus. That's who I know as a form of Thoth. He said that which is above corresponds to that which is below corresponds to that which is above, that which is above corresponds to that which is below, to accomplish the miracles of the one thing. The one, and the one. Yo, what if you get to the one thing and then as you said before, you get to the one plus one thing. Or you see that one thing was part of a was equal to zero, which was equal to a generator producing more ones and twos and threes. Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. Oh, and I did not have that screen pulled up for y'all. I'm sorry. I thought I did.
Magnetism, electromagnetism, ones and zeros.
You saying that?
Just
Mm-hmm.
a molecule or a unit of space moving a certain direction, and then another one moving in opposition to that direction.
So it's either going this way or it's going that way.
Yeah, you don't know which way it's going. A
Until you
line in free space looks like it's going out from both ends.
until you observe it, come up with a conclusion that you don't even remember coming up with. Be like, I wrote it to go through the left. I know it's going through both, but I wrote it to go through the left when I observe it. Or in this time, it's going to go through the right when I observe it. But I know it's going through the both. It's like, how can you know two things at once? It all depends on where I'm at. Or how much I'm trying to fool myself. That's why
Yeah,
sometimes I get confused with words. And I'll be like, not confused with words, but I'll be really wary of things that I say. But sometimes I know that things that I'm saying is probably ringing a bell for somebody else's ear.
yeah, it wants to come out right now,
Yeah. So it's like, just say it.
but it hasn't been filtered yet.
Yeah.
My last mushroom trip, they're oh, you want to be on that level? I ain't gonna fuck with you then. I was like, ah, fuck, I should have said that. I was just asking a question. It's like because you already know the fucking answer. That's why. Not to be rude. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you don't cuss.
That's just how.
Please excuse my curse.
But it happened anyway. Like, ta-da.
I used to not.
Used to
There was
not
a
what?
time in like curse. Like
Uh-huh.
I would be very conscious of it. And then I'd let myself just like fucking just like food. You know, what kind of air you breathing, what kind of food you're intaking, what are you feeding your body in terms of what you're saying to yourself and what you're saying to others.
I was the same way, Exile. I didn't curse growing up. All my friends did. I didn't feel the need to, really. It was just like, that just was the way I talked. And then I just started doing it. And like one like year after, slowly year after year, started coming along, especially when I started listening to rap music.
Been around kids too, because I was with a girl who had a kid and just had no cursing, so we didn't ever curse for like 2 years. I was like no cursing,
Like purposely.
purposefully.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I went to church too, so I think I did have a filter on it as well that was installed in me that I just wasn't that aware of. That's why I just called it natural. But it was an installed program by the church because my mom would curse up a storm. And she still will. And just having fun with it. Like not even just being angry or upset. Just like describing
for
something
sure.
exciting.
It's the emotion behind it, right?
Yeah.
Not exactly the words, because you
Nope.
could say You could
And that's why I was so
roses,
dull.
roses.
So now I allowed myself to be able to learn a new language, a new translation of myself, of self. Not even myself, of self. Because I learned all the nerdy ways.
Right.
Like I learned, I could say that. I could do all of those things, like describing the color or how I feel about how it's relating to my heart. Well, I still do. Like, man, that's still fucking fantastic. Like, that's still my heart. It's just everything. Where I could say, um, it moves my heart to fantastical adventures. Like, you know what I'm trying to say. It's not coming to me right now. That's more romanticized. I can
I'm
go
there.
into a bunch of different fields, the 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 empirical nature, whatever. It's not funny to me anymore. See, then I like to stay funny. That's why I like cursing and
Most
talking like
well,
this.
most things come out as like you can relate to it better as a song or a poem or something like that because that's what a poem is or a song is trying to do, trying to convey something that can't be said.
Yeah, and it comes out in the moment. That's why Wayne is Lil Wayne is so inspirational to somebody, or a lot of people was able to. That's in his field and to a lot of the people like me, because he don't write stuff. He don't write shit. He just ever since a long time ago. I remember he wrote that song 1,000 bars, and he had the paper with all the
Man,
bars he wrote on there for the past couple
man,
years. You remember that? And then he said, I'm gonna spit it all out right here, and then I'm never gonna write again. I'm just gonna say whatever's on my mind,
man.
and I'm gonna
There's
be.
it's
Mm-hmm.
certain type of authenticity, bro, that just comes out. Like, and you can hear it in somebody's voice in the songs, and like,
You can hear
yeah,
what they
that
was going
person's
through that day.
yeah, it's gonna change. It's not gonna be the same. Fucking Ride the Lightning is not the Black album, and fucking the Carter one is not the Carter four. So there's a journey, and to keep what relevant, you've got to show that journey. You've got to be authentic and not just stay to one kind of thing. You are kind of like, you know, there's a certain vibe, right, that comes from a certain type of music, but then there's also a translation or a story or
Yeah,
infinities
translation.
within the infinities.
Yep, that's what I get out of it all the time.
or you could say possibilities within that infinity.
Mm-hmm. And you just get aware of it, knowing that infinity is part of your infinity. So get that quantum entanglement going on, make things happen over where you are, if that's what you want. Like getting the story of motivation and the fire, going out on the whim and being authentic, still staying authentic and trusting yourself so much that you know that every word that you're saying is valuable. Like it means nothing at the same time, but while it's here, is valuable. Like that's why he make 1,000,000 songs, cause the song from 3 years ago is nothing. Is now is but it's something. It's still something. But he understands that it's nothing. It's still nothing in the time, in the big span of things, cause time is infinite. So you gotta create stamps. Well, you don't have to, but He's creating stamps with as many moments as he can. I'm just saying because for those who don't know, he doesn't write anymore. He doesn't write lyrics anymore. He just goes in the booth, says a couple lines, hear the beat and stuff, be all on whatever concoction he on of drugs and stuff, of plants too, and he just let loose. He let himself go. Then he tie it on out. He just be tired, and he just trust himself to go. And that showed me myself as well, because I've been tired on this channel for about 5 years. And then when I went through a lot of ups and downs and thinking, man, I shouldn't do the channel more, no more, nobody really listening, or what I'm saying is not really that valuable because somebody else can say the same thing, and all of those little ups and downs and stuff like that. But then when I would go back and watch it myself, I'd be like, "Whoa, I said that," or or "Oh, that was on point," and I'm like, "Ah, they just didn't hear it yet." Or the other thing, or the other thing I say is, "Oh, well, they heard it in another dimension." Like this
Right.
interdimensional cable going on, like that was confirmed through True. An
Those who can
interdimensional
hear will
cable.
hear, and those who will see, can see will see.
And if you can see, but you not here, you can see somewhere else. Like, what's up? What's up, 3 year guy? You got 3 years? Wow, that's interesting.
Triangle head. What's up, triangle head? You're dope, triangle head. What's up, mantis dude?
Do
I
we
love you,
have
mantis
doors?
dude. What's up, snake dude? I love you, snake dude.
How's the doors where you are? Are they square?
Yeah. Do you have doors?
Do you need doors at this point where you are? Let me know. And then it'll pop out in the animation. Like, here's our answer.
They're all, yeah, you just got to turn it to the right, and then you turn it to the left 3 times, and that's how you get. Oh, that's how you get through it.
So simple. That
There
was a
was a
journey.
movie like that. A certain, um, they wore a certain type of bowler hats, and then they turned the knobs to the a certain way, and then they traveled to different places on the earth or something like that. There was a movie like that.
Oh. They said they traveled to different places on the earth? Or
Yeah,
from the.
it was like a society or like a group or something like that. That was like, and then all wore bowler hats. I think, those old like 1800s hats,
The
bowler hat.
warheads?
They're round on the top, and then they have a short, rounded brim that goes up all the way around symmetrically.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's like almost a complete sphere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Except for where the head gotta go.
Hats are crazy.
Hats have come a long way. Yolanda said, she said when I was tripping, I noticed that everything I was listening to, I brought it into my reality. Yeah, that's why I always say thanks for tuning in.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Tuned in to this frequency, bringing it into wherever you are. And so some people right now, and some people right now, whereas they watching right now and they tuned in and they sitting all like around right now, like just sitting around me and stuff like that, just like yeah, eating whatever they eat. But yeah, y'all know how it get. Whenever I get that far out on the channel, my whole my whole vibe start changing, my whole emotions and stuff. But that's the reality.
And bring it back.
Yeah.
You ever draw the seed of life? The circle, the one circle that becomes
I did
eight
when I first
circles.
started learning about it. I had used the protractor or something way so I can make it look all nice.
So the first one, right? You draw a circle, and then you go to the edge. And then at the edge of your fucking consciousness, you find the center of another circle. You come back to the center. You bring that knowledge back.
I'm just
So
a
at the
traveling
edge, you may find your center.
at the edge, at the journey to the edge of the earth, and then come back with a story. That's what they used to say in the Western times when they used to think that the earth had an edge that you could look over, and that's how a lot of the stories was written. A lot of the fantasy stories.
Right? Flat Earth.
Yep, still to this day. Till this day. Because there's always something more to what we see with our two eyes.
Damian Marley, if the earth if the Earth changed shape, everybody gonna laugh?
He said Bob Marley said that?
Damian Marley.
Damien?
Yeah. He said, at once we thought the Earth was flat. Now we thought the Earth was round. And if the Earth changed shape, everybody gonna laugh.
Oh, that is malleable. That's what I kept saying whenever Ozo would bring it up, the flat Earth. I kept saying, what if it's both, and tuned in, and depending on what reality you tuned into, that's what it is. And when we take the psychedelics, and you able to tune into the reality where the Earth is flat, and there's some people that's don't have so much of a confirmation where they see it visually, they probably tapping into reality and stuff where the Earth is flat, like seeing that actual reality. But but it's only coming to them through glimpses of math and things like that, and this shouldn't be possible, and this don't add up to this. It's like with the senses that you're using to sense this reality, you're sensing another reality. Like you're not, your senses is not. I'm not going to say not or is, but for the sake of the story, it's not on this reality. Is a little inch over, and that's actual real, and that's a lot of people don't. It's hard to come with terms to that because like, oh, you're just saying I'm imagining this. It's not real, but it is real. It's all real. But we I guess we starting to become more aware of us being interdimensional travelers, and is a lot of people's waking up to it at different levels of awareness. Like it's probably some people that's been Yolanda, you said when I was tripping I noticed that I just reading that again. I thought you wrote something new. And that it's probably some people that's been tripping for a long time and probably seen the Earth as a hexagon.
Right.
Yeah.
And that was a different way of looking at things.
Yeah.
Or another way.
For sure. So they hear people saying it's flat and he's like, oh, I remember when it was flat. It's so like I see all the different levels. I just seen a lot too. Yeah. Even in ways that art is created where you can draw something differently. Like how we draw the sun in our reality when we growing up. You draw the sun all the way. I'm taking back to art class. Most people draw the sun all the time in the corner, like peeking out. So that the part of the corner is the sun, and you just like draw a little part of the circle that stick out, and you just draw the quick rays. Like I used to, that was my template. Then draw one straight line, then a little smaller line, longer line, smaller line, longer line, smaller line. And then eventually you start moving it over to the middle, start adding clouds and stuff, or you start drawing. Now the person stands on not a flat plane, but it's a little curve, so you can see a little curvature and add different things to the scene. Now it brings a whole different meaning to what that reality means and stuff like that. But it used to exist like this, and the other reality still exists. It's still continuing on. It's just not here. It was still set in motion. So we just continuously creating different things. But yeah, new ways to position the sun and the moon. Because you never see, even though we see the sun and the moon in the sky, just thinking exile, every time we see the sun and the moon in the sky, a lot of times at the same time, you never see a lot of people, I should do this now. You never see a lot of people draw the sun and the moon in the sky at the same time during daytime.
Right.
When they're painting or drawing. Even though that's what we see. So I'm going to start introducing that a little more.
One of my last mandalas was that it was the sun, the moon, Saturn, and then one of the comets. I think it was a couple years ago.
You can see Saturn too sometimes.
You see that in general?
Uh-huh.
What I posted?
Oh, those S's. I remember those.
So that's an infinity knot. That's the number 8. That's upright infinity. We were drawing this since we were little, and we did no like
I remember the strategy. Draw the 3 lines, and then connect the
yeah.
3 lines through the different ways.
The 1 makes the 3. The 3 make the 6.
Don't tell me the 6 make the 9.
When 6 becomes 9.
You are with the divine.
That's what I'm saying.
Fun with words. But it's all symbols. We all been doing this. That's why Yolanda said she been doing that too. Drawing the symbols. We have entered sacred space. Oh wow. I didn't see what Wild Man Ninja posted. He found the missing piece of the puzzle.
There it is, man. I'm glad you found. We've been looking for that. It's only when you stop looking for things when you really start to find them.
Do they show up where you least expect it? Oh, this is. Oh, let's play the intro. Hey, Exile. With that missing piece, I think I'm about to find a missing piece of food that belong in my belly.
That's right.
And as well, use the bathroom. So as there's an in, there will be an out.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate you.
No problem. Thanks for hearing these jokes. Sticking by these jokes. And
Much
all
love.
Much love, bro. I'll catch you on the tie side.
All right.
Hey, Yolanda and Astro Way, thank y'all for coming by. I really gotta pee. King Oz, UL Adams, Crowley is King, Lil Horn of Brasses 365, Infinite Love. Thank everyone for coming by and showing y'all infinite love. Everybody that was coming on through, passing on through. Make sure y'all stay tying, which means just combining your mind with your heart, see what your gut's saying, and any other mind that pop up, see what they all saying, and just let whatever come out, just come on out. Whether it's in art, talking, anyway, any form or fashion. Love you guys. Check out the Timations, and if y'all want to help out the channel grow and actually prosper, so that things can be maintained as we grow. If you have any ideas you want to contribute to the channel, that's very powerful. And as well, the Cash App is a way to donate financial fire to keep the financial fuel to keep the fire going to the channel, so that everything can be maintained, and purchase things like an Apple Pencil so I can really get the animation going instead of having to change the circles and stuff around. Even though that's very cool, I'm getting a lot out of it. But I want to just expand and then get a team of other artists that can then start collabing, and then we can start really building a huge Timation production team, and really do what we know, what we really know what we came here to do. Do what we came here to do, point blank. So everybody, Tao always, adios.